teaching some wine classes.
Mm.
All right, so are you guys ready to get started?
Yeah.
All right, so I think we are. Can you get to my Facebook page and see?
I am. Is this your Facebook?
No, not there. It's hers, Tuanni.
Oh, 20? I checked yours too.
Actually, can you check it on here? Okay, so we are going to get started. Is that on there? All right, whatever. So we just will record it here. All right, so let's get started. Let's see.
Oh, your grill.
Okay, perfect. I know French wine is still very hard for me to pronounce, to understand, but we're going to get started. So we're going to start with our deductive tasting. Last week we did the WSET method, and I think this week we are going to do the Court of Master Sommelier. So I'm going to pull that up on our screen, and then we will get started. And remember, if you have comments or questions about like your wine, please don't be afraid to just like talk. I'm going to leave everybody unmuted. The backgrounds don't seem to be super loud except for our background, but that's okay. And I did introduce you guys to everybody, no, right? So everybody here is drinking the Lismore, so I'm sharing a whole bottle, which is great because, yeah, I'm not a really big fan of white wine, and so this white wine would probably go to waste. I don't know if I would drink the whole bottle. I'm sorry.
Wait, you ready to give it some air to talk to me?
I think I might have pulled.
Let me do that.
All right, and so we're going to introduce everybody. So this is Chris. Chris is the partner, she's the partner owner of J9 Wines.
Hi!
She was nice enough to bring over some Chenin Blanc, so we were drinking Chenin Blanc earlier.
Little pass in a bottle. I'm going to show you a bottle.
It was delicious.
I think in the box. Keep a lookout for J9 Wine.
Oh.
Woo woo, yes. So that's what we were sipping on earlier. So excuse me if I seem a little bit tipsy. Well, no, this is
Like I said, I can't wait till 6 o'clock.
Monica is my good friend. She's also a Zyno. I actually met her because she used to attend some of my first wine events in LA when I would have them at the art gallery. Is that where you first came?
Yes.
Yeah, and so she's actually safe at home in South Africa with me. Say hi, Monica.
Hi. I remember you guys I'm telling you, last week's Sauvignon Blanc was still delicious this morning.
I actually ordered a couple bottles of that Carmen Stevens Sauvignon Blanc, so I can't wait for Carmen to deliver it. But yeah, that Sauvignon Blanc, I can't wait to taste it myself because Monica was making us all wine indie last week.
Ooh.
And then we have
Chaldean.
Oh man, I'm so bad at
No,
this.
it's fine.
So I just met Chaldean today, and she's fucking awesome. Oh, excuse my language. She's fucking awesome. And tell us about yourself, Chaldean.
I'm a TV presenter here in South Africa. I do mostly like kids TV and
I
adventure
didn't
TV.
know she was a TV presenter.
I
I have famous people in my house right
just like wine. Get me into your house with wine. I'm happy. But yeah, that's what I do.
Yes, and then we have Tara.
Tara.
Yes. We
See, I
all
told you I
today.
messed up the names.
Yes, so I'm Chaldean's friend and she brought me along and I'm so grateful for the experience. I'm a physiotherapist and I love it.
Not
Oh.
the psychotherapist. I read it wrong.
Physio, I work with the muscles and
With
the
the
bones
muscles,
and all
not
of
with
that.
not with the brain.
Oh.
All right, so now that we went through all the introductions and we are all best friends now because we're drinking together,
That's right.
we are going to go through the deductive method and we're going to use the Court of Master Sommelier's method today. So I'm just going to share my screen, so you probably won't be able to see all of us, but you will be able to hear us. Just bear with me for 1 second. I'm usually more organized than this, but let's see what happened.
We came over here and distracted you.
I know. Just
Yeah.
1 second. I had a plan. Just a moment. Let me just get rid of some of this stuff. Okay. That one is good. That one is good. Okay, so let's see.
Takura.
Yes.
You hear me?
Hello.
Takura, I own a piece of a wine brand, and my focus is mainly on the tangible things of the wine and the story and everything else that sells, right? Question is, I'd like to know the paper on that bottle. Just give me a little bit of description on that. What's the feel of the paper? Is it embossed? Is it, I just want to understand the label and then how and the bottle quality.
Now, I mean,
When
I
you,
think
when,
that's
when you asked, I was actually like, I was looking for Braille or something. I was looking for like something super different. But yeah, no, this is actually quite a nice paper on here.
Okay.
I like how the crest is drawn. It looks
And
like it's kind of like a,
it's got some accolades on it, I see. Is it?
yeah.
Yeah, what is it
It's
called?
got a gold for excellent at the wine, excellent wine at the price. And then Vitis Vinifera 2018 gold.
Okay.
So probably from two wine shows.
Anybody else drinking any wines with accolades? What does it mean to you? I'm just this is free market research for me, guys. Thank you. You're welcome.
I wanted to talk about Takura's wine. I think Takura's wine, I think Alvy's Drift has watercolor paper. I don't know if you've ever felt watercolor paper.
Yes.
They labels from. And I'll be right back. I'm receiving a call. I'll talk about my accolades on my bottle.
And many of them. Many of them, yeah.
All right, so my wine label, you didn't ask about this
Hi,
one.
sorry.
Nice, like the bottle.
Yeah. So this is an emboss, and I think Ayaboleda, I think what you have is foiling. And the difference here with what we have, it's embossed, and it contributes to the price as well.
Oh.
Okay, so I mean, I think that's. So we're talking about, Chris is actually a marketing specialist in the wine industry, so that's something that she cares very much so about, like when consumers buy wine, what they're buying it based on. I know for me, I bought my wine, I went into the wine shop, and I was like, I want wines that are made by women or Black people. That's the criteria.
Yeah.
And so that's how I picked this wine. And then I just picked it especially because she's from California. And I was like, okay, I'm going to represent for the homegirl. So do you guys pick your wines based on the label when you have, like if you were picking something that was easy to find, like Syrah in South Africa or Cabernet in the States, do you pick it based on the label? Do you pick it based on the story? How do you pick your wines? That's a good point. Anybody?
I think my eyes go towards the label.
Label?
What catches me first.
Okay.
I know I've bought wines purely just because they looked pretty.
Yeah. Especially if you're bringing it to a party.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think it's I forgot the other one, but they make this beautiful Chardonnay Sauvignon Blanc blend, and I think it's from Walker Bay. I forgot what it's called. Ashbourne. They have the prettiest label.
Oh yeah, Ashbourne. That's also what is that, Hamilton Russell brand?
Oh no.
And I literally only got it because it was so pretty, and I was like, if it's nice, that's true.
Alright, so enough about the label. Let's get into this tasting because last time it took us so long, and today it might take a little bit of time too because last time we talked about the WSET method. Now we're going to talk about the Court of Master Sommelier's method. So remember, deductive tasting is not blind tasting. It's not guessing. It's not assuming. Basically, you're looking at the characteristics in the wine and you're trying to discover why those characteristics exist in the wine. So that's what deductive tasting is. So everybody has wine in their glass? Are you guys ready to go?
Ready.
And can you guys see my screen? Can you see the Court of Master Sommeliers, their format for deductive tasting? All right, so let's go through it. So you want to look at your wine. So everybody hold their wine up to the best light as possible. Remember, I said this is not like the proper way to do it, but I love doing this because this is super fabulous. It's great for the gram. So everybody just pose for a picture. Okay. But the best way to look at your wine is from the top down. So like hold the wine, from the bottom and look at it from the top and see if you can see through it? Is it clear? Is it transparent? Look at the color. Is it bright? Is it sparkling? Is it clear? For master sommeliers, they make decisions like, is it clear, hazy, or turbid, right? So clear means that you can see straight through it. Hazy means that there's a little bit of a film. That might happen if the wine is unfiltered, if it's organic. And then turbid means that it's cloudy and you can't see through it for the most part. So I think my wine is clear. Quite clear, right? Anybody else have anything different than clear? Raise your glass if you have something different than clear. Okay.
Clear.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And then you want to look at the concentration of the color, right? So is it pale, medium, or deep, right? So pale would be like the Sauvignon Blanc was, like where it's pretty much transparent. You see the color, but it's just like whispers of color, right? Medium, it's going to be like you can see the color for white wine. You can definitely tell that it's a golden color or a yellow color. And then deep would be like if it were dark golden yellow color. So I would say this is more medium. Yeah, medium. You can definitely see the color in this glass. Anybody else have anything different than medium?
No.
All right.
Medium.
And then you want to see if there's any secondary color. So this is where you would see if there's any like silver, greens, copper. In the Sauvignon Blanc, we saw some green colors, right? When you have a wine from a colder region, you might see some green colors. Do you see any silver colors? Copper, you might see copper if it's an aged wine. But do you guys see any silver or any like copper or green? I don't. I would say maybe a little bit of gold, but that just goes with the first primary color, not the secondary color.
Why would you see silver? Like, where was silver?
Silver would be like a cooler region as well.
Oh.
And silver sometimes will be like for sparkling wines as well. You might see like a little silver glimpse of color.
Okay.
All right. And then, I don't see any secondary colors. Does anybody else see any secondary colors?
Pretty gold.
Secondary colors can give you an indication that it's from either it's aged or it's from a particularly very cold region. All right. And so then let's talk about the rim variations. So the rim is when you look down into your glass and you see the middle of the wine, right? Our lighting is a little poor in here, I think. But if you look down, you can see like the center is going to be like a darker yellow golden color, but around the edges it might be lighter or it might be darker. In red wine, you might start to see some brick around the edges.
Okay.
But do you see a rim? Yes or no? I don't really see a rim in this. I think it's pretty much consistent.
Pretty uniform.
Maybe you think it's fading?
Mine's a little lighter.
A little lighter?
It lightens up on
A little lighter?
Mine is, I think what I'll do is hold it
Oh
up
yeah,
to the
white. The white will help
Yeah.
because the lighting is so bad in here.
I think it's much more gold at the top and then actually quite light at the bottom. So I think there's a bit of
But
variation.
the rim is going to be like when you look at it from top down. Okay, yeah. So the rim is quite light, right? And so that can give you an indication that this is a young wine, right? So the center is dark golden yellow color, but then the actual middle is darker, more concentrated. So I would say, yeah, it has a rim, but you mostly notice the rim when you're drinking red wines.
Okay.
All right, so now let's get to smelling the wine. So is everybody ready to smell the wine? You want to notice?
Yep.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Before that's for the red wines. Terran. So let's go to the Terran. I'm sorry. We're still looking at it, right? So the Terran are the lines that run down the side of your glass. And that gives you an indication of the alcohol content, not the quality of the wine. So do you see any tears? And you can take your time.
Yeah.
Wine sits in your glass, you might start to see more tearing.
I can see them on mine.
Quite a number actually.
And they're close together.
Yeah,
So the more tearing, the more alcohol, the higher alcohol content. So who actually sees some tearing right now?
I see them on mine.
Okay,
One.
Can you tell us how much alcohol percentage is in that wine that you have? Like, what's the alcohol content?
Let me see. It's 14.5. Oh my God.
Yeah. So that is actually a really good example, right? So 14.5 is pretty high for a white wine.
For white wine, yeah. I've never seen it
Just
before.
an ad break. You will find lots of tears in J9 wine.
I'm gonna kill her. All right. So yes. So J9 wine has a lot of alcohol in it. That's what you're telling me.
The legal limit, guys. The legal limit plus tax.
Okay, plus tax. That black tax. All right. So gosh, she got me so distracted. All right. So listen. So that's a good example because you were the first people to say that you saw the tears in the wine, right? And so, like I said, the tears give you an indication of how much alcohol is in the wine, right? And you said 14.5, so that's a perfect example. Let's talk about gas evidence. Gas evidence would basically be, is there any CO2? Do you see any bubbles in the wine? No. Yes or no? Super easy. No, I don't see any bubbles.
No.
If you did see any bubbles in the wine for this Viognier, because Viognier is usually still, not unless it were a sparkling Viognier, then that would probably be a fault in the wine. So no gas is a good thing in this Viognier. All right, so that's everything about the site. Let's now finally go to the nose. So when I smell the wine, I usually like to smell it first. And then we're going back to the very basics. Remember I said my own personal wine tasting techniques. I smell it and then I swirl it just because I like to see how it opens up. So smell it and then swirl it and then smell it again and see if the flavors and the aromas changed in the wine. I think it did for me.
It's like heightened.
Yeah, it's more robust, right? More
Just
aromatic.
How much alcohol is in this?
This one is 13.5. 13.5%. So ours has 13.5% alcohol. Is that the first thing that you smell? Kind of
Well,
move
my nose is kind of broken.
Her nose is broken. So, but that's good. No, but if that's what you smell, because that's what you want to notice. So you want to notice, does the wine smell clean or does it smell faulty? That's the first decision that you're gonna make, right? So when you say clean, that means that you can smell the fruit flavors in the wine. You can smell grapes. It smells like wine, you know.
Yeah, smells like
it smells like flowers, things like that. Faulty would be that it smells like something went wrong. So like you could smell like oxidation, Brettanomyces, which is like barnyard, funky tennis shoes, like it smells volatile, it smells TCA, it's gonna be like the wine is spoiled, right? So it's gonna smell like a wet newspaper, like a wet dog, things like that. So yeah, I don't want any of that either. Does anybody smell that in their room? Okay, good. So then we all agree that the wine is clean, so we can move on, right? Yes. Clean like you want your man to be, right?
Yes. That's right. And you women, let's not be biased. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry, guys.
But aren't we always? I'm just joking.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay, then you want to talk about the intensity of the wine, right? The intensity of the smell of the aromas, right? Is it delicate? Is it moderate? Is it powerful? So, like, let's give it one more swirl. Let's smell it again. Would you say it's delicate, moderate, or powerful? So last week, I think the Sauvignon Blanc was powerful. Moderate? I think it's moderate.
I feel
moderate
it's between delicate and moderate, in all honesty. But it's not a really.
I get moderate.
So I would say moderate medium.
Yeah.
Between that?
Yeah.
Between moderate and like
Or medium moderate. I don't know if it's medium moderate or moderate medium. But between delicate and moderate, whatever that would be. So I think that's
what we're getting.
Yeah.
I'm seeing that it's between moderate and powerful. I'm getting like a real headbutt out of this, like so much flavor.
Nice. And which one was that one again?
The LV's draft.
Alfie's, and it was in 2018?
LV. 2018, yeah.
Okay, we got to keep that in mind.
18.
I love that.
That one's super yummy and such a great price point, actually.
Really?
For a good Viognier.
And you said that's like Wellington, right?
Yeah, it's Wellington area, so.
So it's a little bit warmer region. So maybe that's what it is. You know, those warmer regions, you usually get like really big, powerful aromas. But yeah. So, anybody else? How does the wine smell? Does it smell delicate, moderate, or powerful?
Moderate.
Moderate?
Moderate.
More somewhere as well. I feel like my wine has a similar smell to that of Elvis Drift as well. It's a little more powerful than
A little bit more powerful. I think the in general, typically Viognier runs between moderate and powerful. It just depends on like the region. And so that's, like I said, you want to think about, why does it smell like these things? Why does it smell more powerful? Why does it smell more moderate? And ours comes from a cooler region, so I think that that's why it's moderate minus. Our minus moderate. We didn't decide which one it was. All right. So then you want an age assessment. So now after you smell it, you want to say, okay, does it smell youthful? Does it smell like it's developing? Does it smell Venus? Which means that it smells like it's been aged. It's been in a bottle for a long time. So, what would you guys say? Youthful, developing? I feel like this one is developing.
I think so, yeah.
Mine's developed.
I think just hit like adolescence or something in between there.
Teenage years.
Teenage, yeah.
Maybe like 18.
Yeah.
You
On the
know,
brink.
like when you're
It's not
still like
grown
18,
yet, though.
18, like you cute though.
You cute.
You cute, but you don't have
But you're
that
not
grown
grown.
and sexy.
No, you're not grown.
And sexy. Like,
I think she's a teenager.
no, you
Like
think
16.
she's no,
She just got her driver's
that's
license and she
youthful.
thinks she's
That's
grown.
youthful.
But she ain't grown yet.
Ain't grown yet. She
Okay.
acting grown. but she ain't grown yet.
All right, you guys. Let's go to our friends online. So does anybody get? Hold on for a second. Quiet on the set, please.
Quiet on the set.
Thank you. Sorry, guys. So what would you guys say? Would you guys say this wine is more youthful, developing, or Venus?
Mine's quite youthful. Like it's
Like a teenager.
Oh, mine.
Over 16 or 18?
it's out
18
there.
is like 18 is developing.
Because in South Africa, you can only get your driver's license at 18 legally. So it's a different ball game, guys.
All right.
Which teenager are we talking about?
So anybody else? Anybody else have anything different than?
Mine's from 2014. Can you
Oh
believe it?
wow! And so how does that one smell?
I think it's still moderate, but as you said, it's moderate to strong. But it's very nice. Like,
What
yeah,
about the
I'm
color?
surprised.
2016, I was think that the color would start to be like a deeper, darker, golden yellow color. What was your color like?
Yeah, the color is quite reasonably pronounced. It's quite
Nice.
yellow.
So
It's not the most yellow because actually my husband comes from the east of France and they make a yellow wine. That's what they're no one knows this region because it's not very popular, but they make a yellow wine and it's very yellow. But compared to most wines, this one's a little bit yellow. So yeah, it's a bit pronounced, but it's
So maybe moderate, pronounced minus or moderate plus. That's what I would
moderate
say.
plus.
Moderate plus.
Okay.
But it's very like it's really nice.
Nice. All right, so
Yeah.
let's go to the fruit. So when you smell the wine, what are some of the things that you smell in the fruit? So like, what fruits do you smell? Do you smell from the citrus family, tropical family? What family of fruit?
Mm.
Stone fruit. I'm getting heaps of apricot, peach, that kind of stuff.
Apricot, peach. So if it's citrus, with apricots and peaches, are they citrus fruits or stone?
No,
Those
they're
are
stone
stone
fruit.
fruits.
Yeah.
Stone fruits. Yeah, stone fruits.
I get a lot of citrus here,
Mm-hmm.
but I think in the taste I'll probably get more of those.
Okay,
fruits.
let's not go through the taste yet. Let's go through
I'm predicting.
So citrus, when you say citrus though, so do you mean lime, lemon, and do you mean like the skin of the citrus fruit, or do you mean like the actual like
Taste
the flesh?
of
The flesh.
I would say the flesh of the citrus, not the skin necessarily.
Would you say lime or lemon? Or orange? Or tangerines?
Maybe orange and tangerine, not that much lime or lemon.
Nice. Okay, good. Anybody else?
My wine is more of your tree fruits. So like pears is what I'm picking up.
Pears?
Like smells like pear to
Yours
me.
is- But yours is also French too. So I feel like the French wines can be a little less stone fruits and a little less like citrus fruits, and they could be more like hints of pear. All right, so let's talk about the flowers. Does anybody smell any flowers? And if you like, what color flowers? Let's just start off with
I
flowers.
think white flowers.
white flour, right?
Like Asian pear.
A little like a white flour, but a little sweet white flour. Not as sweet as like a honeysuckle, but something like white and sweet. I don't know, maybe like jasmine.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, jasmine.
Is that what it is?
It's the little white bun.
Damn, yeah.
Okay, what about spice? Does anybody? What about you guys online? Do you guys smell any flowers?
Something white.
Something white? Anybody else for the flowers?
Yeah, I agree
Very
with
bad with the smell.
Jasmine.
Ayabulela, you very quiet, eh?
Sorry, I had to meet someone to do like a wine exchange situation. Now
She was working out a deal. Okay. Do you have any comments about the wine, Ayabulela?
I just want to like catch up just a little bit. I promise to put my input in a little bit.
All right, so let's talk about the non-fruit. So like spices. Did anybody smell any spices? And these spices could be anything. I usually like to break it down into like baking spices and savory spices. So first, do you smell any savory spices? And that could be like any pepper.
I don't get a savory aroma.
No, I don't get any
More of a
savory aroma. Baking spices, maybe? Like maybe just like a touch of honey, a touch of vanilla.
Very much.
Is that nutmeg or something?
Oh,
I could see a little bit of nutmeg. I mean, definitely some baking spices. And like sometimes people get so hung up thinking that they have to actually pick the actual spice, right? But you can just say it just reminds you of something that's baking and that's sweet, you know? And not overly sweet, just like this hint of it that just runs through like.
Yeah.
Because it makes me want turkey, like Thanksgiving.
Oh, like a sweet kind of mashup of sweet and savory.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I really like the way that this wine smells.
It's
That's nice.
Yeah, like it's got a very like deep, spicy smell. Not too overpowering, but like it's intriguing. Like you want to get to know what that spice is.
Yeah, and there's this hint of vanilla, and I think that's because this one is aged in oak. I don't think this is 100% stainless steel. I think this Viognier, I would guess that you're getting that vanilla spice. It's a very round aroma, and that comes from some oak aging. Anybody else? Does anybody else not get the vanilla spice? Because maybe yours is 100% stainless steel.
Yeah, I'm not getting any vanilla on mine.
No, and what was yours again? That was
it was 100% Viognier from I don't know if you can see.
Wait,
Yes,
no.
from Paul.
From Parle. Does it say on the bottle? Oh, Barbara. Yeah, I wonder if that's stainless steel 100%. That might be stainless steel 100%. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Julie, are you okay?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. What about some earthiness? Does anybody get any earthiness like forest floor, mushrooms, soil? I don't get any.
Very floral.
I don't get any earthy aromas at all. This is very floral, very fruity, with a touch of vanilla and honey. What about minerals? So the minerals kind of like it gives you an indication of like what the stone looks like. If you had to guess where these grapes were grown in, what kind of soil would that look like? What would it feel like, right? And sometimes people don't know what chalk and slate and flint and all these things. But like if you had to describe the soil, what would you think that this soil looks like? Would you say that it was a dark, deep, rich soil? Would you say that it was a white, sandy soil?
I think it's like a reddish, like clayish, if I can. Again, I'm not like a soil expert, but I think like a reddish, clayish thing.
Anybody else have anything about their soil? Reddish, clayish, okay.
I'm
So Tuanni,
Gray slate. Mm-hmm.
so I know nothing about soil. So maybe you can give us like a quick masterclass on what types of soils are there and what kind of things they produce. Because now I think I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking for myself, but
I'm not the soil expert, but I will try to give you a little bit of like things about what soil can like do for the wine, right? So in South Africa is so amazing because South Africa has such diverse soils, right? So for example, if you're in French, you have wine farm. In different parts of the farm, you can have different soils that can impart different flavors on different grape varietals, right? And so when you're in France, for example, Silver, she had her wine. Where did Silver go? Okay, there she is. So Silver has her wine, and she's in France, and in France they have a lot of like chalk soil, a lot of limestone. So her wines might taste totally different than ours. This wine that we're tasting right now, that's from the South Coast, I would imagine that this wine is a combination of a lot of different soils, but for me, I would think that the soil is more like chalk, maybe a little bit of like slate because it has this like little minerality. It's like this crispness at the end, like this little like zing at the end. And I'm thinking that that comes from the soil, but I could be wrong. But it will be interesting. I'm probably gonna Google after this call, like what kind of soils in the south coast of Africa. But I'm thinking like you get some kind of like mineral from the soil, like think seashells, right? So think if you took a seashell and you put a seashell on your tongue, that flavor that you get, that's what I'm getting in this wine. You said red dirt. I would think, but I mean, it could just be me and my mental capacity because when I think about red dirt wines, I think about more red wines and I think about more richer wines. But that could just be me mentally making the association.
Again, I'm not a soil expert. I have no idea.
No, but I could be wrong. You know, the dirt could be red. It could be volcanic. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I haven't spent much time in that region, Wellington. It's not one of my favorite areas personally. It's just that I'm trying to play in the bigger, more well-known spaces, which is the Elgin area, and our wines are made in the Stellenbosch area. So for us and for my brand right now, we're just mastering where we at in our current region, so we don't become jack of all trades, right? So it's just we need to be focused as we go along. So hence I can partake, but I can't partake. You did say this is along the Wellington region, right?
No, I said this is the South Coast. So like this is South Coast region.
That's why I'm trying to just I'm just
My-
trying to
my
see
one's
on
close
the map, you know, way on the south coast, you know, but it looks like Greyton. I mean, I think Greyton, it gets very cold, but it's also very hot. You know, it's that both places, it's extreme in everything. Yeah, because it's in the valley.
Yeah.
So you know you're gonna get the frost bite and the snow, but later in the day you're gonna get the warmth. You know?
Yeah. And I feel like I could taste that climate in the wine because the wine does feel like it has layers. Like it has this very crispness, but then it has this warmth to it. Yeah. So Greyton, okay. I want to go to.
That's where I am, Tuanni.
Yay! So would you agree with that? Weather?
Yes, the mornings are freezing now.
Bite your
Really
toes off.
fucking freezing. But then it warms up during the day and gets like you can go and sit in the sun and be extremely comfortable.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's the two extremes of the very cold overnight and in the morning, and then a warm, you know, like midday, 11 a.m. till 3 p.m. sort of thing.
Julie, how many bedrooms do you have?
I've got 4. Who wants to come?
Oh, I'm coming.
I'm here on my own. You should all come.
Oh, guys, we'll come. We'll bring wine.
Just bring linen.
Okay, that's no problem.
All right.
A place to celebrate my birthday, so maybe we'll all go to Greyton. Okay.
Oh,
back to the wine.
Tuanni, come this weekend.
I would love to. Can I Uber there?
I don't think you will.
Okay,
It's a plane ticket
come
to
with the
Johannesburg,
girls.
right?
Oh, no, something.
No, the same price.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm here till the end of the month, till 30th of June.
I love it. Okay. So now let's talk about the wood. When you smell the wine, can you smell any wood? Can you smell any oak? So when they say wood, they don't necessarily mean do you actually smell wood in the wine. They mean do you smell, maybe you do smell wood, right? But do you smell the characteristics that wood actually imparts, that oak actually imparts on the wine? So for example, American oak can be totally different than French oak. American oak is way more robust. If somebody puts their wine in American oak, you're gonna get more like really, really spicy flavors and aromas like cinnamon and just like very, very spicy flavors. But if it's like French oak, you're gonna get subtle spice flavors. Like you might get some vanilla, you might get some, somebody help me out with some flavors that you get from oak.
Honey, maybe sometimes.
Maybe some honey. You're just gonna get more rounded, subtle flavors from French oak. And like I said, I smell vanilla in this wine right away, so I'm thinking for sure this one has some French oak.
I think I'm not an expert when it comes to this specifically because it's a fine line, and the older the winemaker is, not the older, so the more experienced the winemaker is, and those ones that can take nonsense and turn it into something beautiful, you know, that comes with experience, and they've mastered the part of blocks, you know, the French oak blocks, for example, and we were just speaking about it when we were at the farm, Caldine, and I don't know really because that tastes a bit of tank as well, in my opinion, or part and part, maybe a little bit in the oak and then over, but I don't know the technicalities when actually storing and how it gets transferred over. So in my mind, I'm thinking about the technicalities when making it, and I do smell the tank in it. I do.
So, I mean, like when you're making any wine, for the most part, after you crush the grapes and you press them into a juice, for white wines, because red wines you leave the berries, but when you press them into a juice and you leave them into a stainless steel tank, so it's red wine or white wine, they leave it into the stainless steel tank so that it can ferment.
Yeah.
After it ferments, that's when they transfer it to an oak barrel for some white wines, for Viogniers and for Chardonnays. But for other white wines like Sauvignon Blanc, except for Carmen's, they just release them straight. They bottle them and they release them, or they might age them in the bottle. But we're talking about after that tank method, when they're fermented, when they move them into a different vessel, which would be the oak barrel. Do you get any flavors or aromas from that part of this process? And that's where you're gonna get like the vanilla, the honey, the different spices, maybe the cinnamon, maybe the nutmeg.
Takora, what are you smelling? Do you smell any wood?
I don't. This wine's got a nuttiness to it. Not like a nuttiness like a peanut, but it's probably like a macadamia nut or a cashew. One of those more subtle nutty flavors.
And that's something that you can get.
That's like the off fruit character that I'm getting.
Silver, what about you?
I'm not really getting any type of oakiness. It can be that my palate's just not picking it up, but I actually was gonna Google to see exactly if this was a non-oak, because I'm not picking up. I mean, I guess if I convince myself, I can say, oh yeah, I smell a little.
It should be that. If you're not smelling it, you're not smelling it. It could be that, and it could be that either they use neutral oak if they did use oak. But if you're not smelling it, you're not smelling it. Maybe, and that's the whole point, because you want to say, okay, I really don't smell any oak. If they use oak, it's neutral oak, right? But then also, is it more crisp or is it more rounded, right? Because then that's how you can tell if it's oak or if it's not oak. And you'll probably get that when you taste it, right? So right now you can't make that decision. Right now you're just saying, I don't smell any oak. If they did use oak, it's neutral oak. And when you're doing this deductive tasting, you make all these notes and then you put a pin in them, right? And then you want to go back to them. So for silver, that's the pin. You don't smell any oak. If it is oak, it's neutral.
Right.
And then when you taste it, that's when you're going to look for that roundness or that acidity. Because if you have roundness, then maybe you can say, okay, it's oak, but it's definitely neutral oak. If there's no roundness, then you can say, you know what, it's definitely stainless steel. So that's the whole point of deductive tasting, is because you're like building. You're not just making a judgment on the wine just based on one thing. All right. So Did I bore you guys? I'm sorry.
Oh,
No, this is awesome.
All right, so let's go on to the palette now. So this is everybody's favorite step.
Yeah, she literally said,
So everybody, take a sip of your wine. Take a sip of your wine. Hold it on your tongue for a little bit. Swish it around. See how it actually feels on your tongue. The weight of the wine, sweetness of the wine. All right. And then you want to notice if there's any sweetness, right? So most of the time you notice that sweetness in the tip of your tongue, right? And so you basically want to say, is it bone dry? Is it dry? Is it off dry? Is it medium? Medium sweet? Sweet or lusciously sweet like I am?
girl, lusciously sweet. Lusciously sweet. I would say this was like medium dry. Even dry.
Okay. Medium, it's medium sweet.
No.
You just think it's, so the choices are bone dry, dry, or off dry.
Off dry.
Probably off dry.
Dry to off dry.
Okay. Sorry.
Everybody okay?
Yeah, sorry. Okay, anybody else have any decisions?
Umpumelelo, you're enjoying the wine there on your own. And I'm feeling FOMO for your corner right now. Shit.
Yes.
I mean, you did South Africa.
Yes. Because on the nose, it was very. I don't know if my mic's on. On the nose, I really struggled to find the wood and all that and that coming through. I was really like driven to think it was more stainless steel because I really couldn't pick up any type of wood. But now that I've tasted it, it's got this roundness to it. So maybe it comes back to that thing where you were like, maybe there is some wood, but then it's not like, what were you saying? It was,
Neutral wood.
yes, neutral wood. So I'm really like enjoying it. And I think maybe it was too chilled at first because as I'm having it, it's getting like better. I don't know if that's like anything.
And you know what? That could be it though, because as it warms up in the glass, what?
I think it definitely makes a difference from when it's like out of the fridge to sitting, smelling, letting the air and the heat of the environment get to the wine. It makes a big difference.
Yeah, and Silver noticed that last week when she had her wine because she was
Yep.
just like, oh, I don't know, it's so tight. But by the end of the call, she was like, okay, it's talking to me now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think that happens. That's really important. I think that's a mistake that a lot of us do when we pour our wine, right? We pour our wine too cold, and then as it sits in the glass, it starts to open up. I feel like it's a good thing and it's a bad thing, right? Because if you pour it too warm, people who like their wine cold, they're gonna be like, oh, this is too warm. Yeah, but people who are patient, they can just say, you know what, I'm gonna just let it sit there,
and get there.
Yeah.
So
kind of
I
a-
like the how you said if it's crisp, that may make you think of this like a stainless steel, and if you have some roundness to it. So after there's some roundness, so I'm gonna go with the neutral.
Okay.
Because it's not a crisp type fish. It's not a clean.
Yeah, I have the same experience. Yeah.
And I think the crew that I'm tasting with, they tasted this Lismore, and they were like, "Oh, it's off dry or it's medium dry, right?" And I think that like a lot of people do this when they're tasting wine, right? They taste the wine that's very fruity, that's very floral, the characteristics of a Viognier, and they say, "Oh, this is off dry," and it's really not off dry. Off dry wine means that wine has a little bit of residual sugar, right? And means that it's going to be sweet from that residual sugar. This wine has a sensation of sweetness. Only a sensation of sweetness, but that comes from the fruit flavors and the aromas in the wine because it has very good fruit in it. Which I think is a great quality in the wine because it's giving you the sensation of sweetness. It's giving you this, but it's more without the residual sugar. So I would say that it's fruit forward. It's fruity, it's floral, but it's not off dry. This wine is definitely 100% dry. No residual sugar.
I have learned something today.
Mm.
All right. So we all agree that our wine was dry, right? Did anybody have like an actual sweet Viognier? Nope. And they do make them in a dessert style sometimes where they make them with residual sugar, but I think that this is definitely dry. And then when you taste it, did you taste the same fruits that you tasted on the smell and the aroma, or did you taste new fruits or different fruits? Anybody, Silver?
I taste more of the citrus, the like a lemon, something lemony towards the finish. And like when I put it in my mouth and get ready to swallow, it's like I can't explain, like a honey, like a
Nice.
honey.
Nice. Say it again.
Like
Love it when you took part.
it's like a sweet and sour thing going on.
Talk American.
Love it when you took American.
Hey, she speaks real American because she's from like New York area, so I got that great accent.
Yeah.
No, but I think that honey is that roundness that you're getting, right? And so just put a pin in that, right? Because I feel like that could be something that you're getting from like the oak or the wood. And so your homework assignment is when you finish with this, either email the winery or look it up online, and let's try to find out if your wine is aged in oak, because we were thinking it was stainless steel, but now we're getting that roundness and we're thinking that it's probably honey, right? And then that lemon that you're getting is the acidity of wine, right? So for white wine, acidity is the backbone for white wine, and you want to have that acidity, right? Because it balances out all the flavors. It balances out those fruity aromas and the floral aromas. So the acidity is a good thing in white wine, especially if it's not overwhelming. It's just like a little kick at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
I usually get the acidity like just in my jaw. Like I'm like,
Like
Sauvignon Blanc especially, I just get
oh yeah, Sauvignon Blanc is crazy. I can't remember that.
Yes, make you want to pucker.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else?
So for me, I also get a little bit of acidity, not a little bit, like a lot, overwhelmingly, but I do get like citrus notes, like maybe like a citrus peel or an orange or something like that. But then also that roundness is more like beeswax more than it is honey. Like I don't know if you've ever had beeswax in your mouth, like that's how it feels in your mouth. It feels like beeswax more than it is honey, because it's not sweet. But it has
out the flavor of honey.
That's
yeah. But it's very round. You can feel like the roundness makes you think that it was an oak, but that acidity and that citrusiness also makes you think maybe stainless steel tanks, So I think maybe it was half. I don't know, or 5.
That's a good point, though. That's a good point, because maybe it is half, especially if you're getting a wine with noticeable acidity like that. All right. Anybody else want to talk about the acidity? Or all right. So now let's talk about Tukura.
We can move on. Let's go.
I know who was that.
No, I was going to say I had medium high acidity.
Medium high, and yours is the one that came from Wellington, right? Or Paro? Wellington.
Yeah.
I feel like ours is
feed.
I feel like ours is very acidic.
Oh yeah.
But I can
feel it on your tongue.
if I think to like, I think I literally had that Viognier last night. I'm not gonna lie, I definitely had it last night, and I think what you can pick up in that one is that instead of that like beeswaxy feel, you get a very sharp acidity, and then the floral notes kind of go boom, but never that whole mouth like more soft feeling. And I think that can really add to the acidity of that wine.
Yeah.
That's very good.
I feel like you were so excited about it.
No, it's like I said, it's very, very nice. It's very tasty, and I like that acidity in it. With some Viogniers, you need to let it give you that acidic break so that it's not too
Flabby.
not too like trying to overpower you with my woody flavors, because there are a lot of wine estates that I think over oak. Yeah, Viognier. Like you wanna, or you oak it for a certain amount of time, but because Viognier is not a popular grape, sometimes it is allowed to age on the shelf for too long, and when you get it, it's like, oh, this is an oak assault. So I think the acidity in that specific one really balances that out. It gives you the acidity and that fruity flavor, and that's what I like from a Viognier.
I love that because that's what I like too, because I love the floral and the delicate fruit in Viognier. And like you said, sometimes they put too much oak and then you don't get that. You just get oak. That woodiness. So yeah. Okay, are you guys ready to move on? We really weren't supposed to be talking about the acidity yet, but we can just go on down to, let's just go on. It's okay. Let's just go on to the palate now. So when you tasted it, did you taste like phenolic bitterness? Like, of course, this isn't a red wine, so there's no tannin, so you don't get those phenolic flavors. You don't really get that bitterness. You can maybe get a little bit from the oak, but I don't really get any. Sometimes Viognier, you do get a little bit of bitterness, but it's not really bitterness. It's like leafiness because of the, what is it called? That's what Viognier is for me. Like you can almost smell like when you said citrus, and that's why I had asked you so many questions, because I'll get this taste of like lime leaf or lemon leaf, like the leaf of a lime.
That's
it.
Things,
You
like,
know?
if you put it in front of me, I'd be like, 100%.
Yeah, but when you think about greenness and you think about that citrus aroma from a lime, that's what I get in Viognier a little bit.
That's that.
Yeah.
That's like a lemongrass or something.
But not quite like lemongrass, because it's not like for me a lime leaf. You get the leafiness first with the hint of lime. Lemongrass, you get the lemon and then grass. You know, so I don't know if that makes sense.
I feel like it's a lemon leaf that they rub the rind on, and now you taste it.
Yeah,
it just pops a little
Gives a
more.
bit of lemon.
A little bit of lemon.
More than a leaf would.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
All right. So we talked about the acid, so we won't go over the acid, and then the alcohol. We talked about the alcohol when we smelled the alcohol, right? But what about when you taste it? So who was it that had the 14.5? Is it burning in your Pumleno? I can't even say his name because I keep hearing Snoop Dogg say it. So what about, could you taste that alcohol in your wine when you tasted it?
You know what? I didn't actually. I was expecting it to be like overwhelming. Roundness, that smoothness of it, I think sort of like crushes that. Because I like I said, I've never had white.
That's a well-made wine, then, if you can't really taste that.
It's very yellow. Can I just say, from the video I see, it's a very yellow-looking wine. Does everyone agree?
Let's see.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it was very yellow. And I've just remembered the Tuanni, the wine from the east of France that I was talking about. It's just called Vin Jaune, which means yellow wine.
Vin Jaune.
So you'll have to try that one day too.
I wonder what grape it is.
You know, in some
Good question, but it's just called Vin Jaune, yellow, and it's the most yellow wine you will ever see.
Wow, you know what? I would love to do a tasting where we have the orange wine that you were just talking about, and then the yellow wine, and then maybe if we could find some other weird, strange color wines, you know? That would be a fun
Or like
taste.
the Vino Verde from Portugal.
Which is green. Yeah.
Like green.
Green. Yeah, and there's no food coloring. Okay, so let's talk about now the body of the wine, right? So what about the body? How did you guys feel about the body?
Strong. Good body.
Would you say it's light?
Full body, yeah.
Full.
Full. Yeah, full body.
Okay, if it's light, raise your hand. Oh, I'm saying if you feel like it's medium, raise your hand. If you think it's medium plus, raise your hand.
Maybe
I think it's
medium
medium
plus, yeah.
plus.
Oh,
Yeah.
medium
If
plus.
you think
Yeah.
Yeah.
full, if you think it's full body, raise your hand.
At least medium
Full
plus.
minus.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a strong medium plus on the side
Yeah.
of full. Like it
Oh,
could
really?
be, yeah, like it's not full because like a full, I've had some Chardonnays that are definitely 100% oak and that are like heavy on your tongue, right? This isn't heavy, it's just medium plus. Like you can feel it, so it feels like it's medium to medium plus.
That citrusy taste is so overpowering on my tongue. It's sizzling in a good way under my palate, under my tongue.
What's that area
So
called?
that kind of overpowers a lot for my palate.
Okay.
Yeah, and I like it. It's good. No.
I still want to eat some turkey.
Yeah, she's thinking about dinner because she didn't eat.
Oh, Takora, what did you find? Is yours medium plus as well?
It's Tukura.
Takora, what is that?
You said Takara.
Oh, Takora.
Yep.
Takura.
Yep. I thought it was a full body minus. If I'm gonna get super particular, it's not as big as the biggest Chardonnay, but it's really nice and rich. But I like that the acid kind of cleans it up, so it's nice and balanced. I'm really enjoying it.
Nice.
Julie, did you have the same tasting notes as us?
It's strong. It's like, yeah, as we said, full medium plus. Very nice, but yeah, medium plus and quite strong.
Medium plus.
Abu Leila.
Yes. I feel like mine is medium. I don't know. Like I struggle to gauge white wines because in my head, when I think of a white wine, I'm always thinking, oh, light bodied. Except when it's like a heavy oaked Chardonnay, then you're like, oh, okay, that's different.
Yeah.
But every time I drink a white, I'm always like, oh, so light, because I'm constantly comparing it to a red when I think of medium and full. So in my head, it's always light unless it's like a heavily oaked Chardonnay.
That's why. Thank you for that. I was curious why I didn't have what they had.
Yeah, because you're thinking red wine, probably.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the texture. Did anybody else have anything about the body? Anybody have a different? Silver, did you talk about the body of your wine?
I said medium plus. I think is that what we were talking about right now?
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so now let's talk about the texture, right? So do you think it's creamy, round, or lean? Creamy, round, or lean? I think I need to taste it again.
What's the last one, Tuanni? Creamy, round, what? Creamy.
I need to understand the difference between round and creamy. I think that's going to be the deciding factor.
Shannon's are creamy, right? Come close to creamy, but that's buttery, so it's buttery.
What else can it be besides creamy?
Brown.
And leaky. What was it? Creamy, round, and leaky.
When it's creamy, you don't have that noticeable acidity, you know?
Okay. See, guys,
I want to say that it's lean. For me, it's lean because it has that acidity.
Lean.
But that's my opinion. Anybody else have a different
that's what
opinion?
I want to understand, like, what is a round texture? Because I feel like when I smelled it and I got that, like, oakiness, I associated that with, like, a roundish texture. But I don't know if my roundness that I'm smelling is the roundness that I'm tasting and or feeling.
Right, and so like when you first taste it, I do get this roundness to it, right? But then as I swallow it, it has so much acidity that it kind of cleans the palate. So then that's why I said that it was lean, you know?
Yeah.
And I try to think of it like a steak, right? Because you know a steak is very rich, right? But do you have a lean steak or do you have a fatty steak, right? So a Chardonnay for me would be like a fatty steak, right? Where it's just like we have a lot of fat on there, and the fat can be yummy sometimes, right? But let's imagine if you have a piece of ribeye that's a really good piece of ribeye, but it doesn't have a lot of fat on it. So you eat it and you get that heaviness from it, but it doesn't have a lot of fat. So that's a lean piece of meat. I hope that explains.
I understand when you said it and I tasted it, I get that feeling in my mouth. But as soon as you swallow it, you get that like little like tiny zing.
Yeah, it's for me. It's like a ribeye that's a lean piece of meat. That's a ribeye, a lean piece of ribeye. So it's nice. It has a nice medium plus body, but then it's lean.
Right. It doesn't have all that.
It doesn't have all that fat. It's like a Chardonnay that's 100% oak and that's big. And that's malolactic fermentation. That would have like that's ribeye steak that has that trim of fat on it. That's delicious. That I like.
That's the ribeye steak that you want.
Don't judge me. I'm fatty. Okay. So does anybody else have an impression of their wine? Is it lean? Okay. So I think we can all agree that it's not really creaminess. I think when you say creaminess, it's lacking that acidity, right? And then round, is it round? Round, it could still have that acidity, but just a hint of acidity, or the acidity is not really noticeable. For me, lean means that you can notice that acidity. So, anybody else have an opinion? Is it creamy, round, or lean?
I feel like I'm like lean minus like I'm making up something right now, but like a little bit of roundness with some of the lean to it.
Yeah, I get it. No, I get that. Yeah.
So round to lean.
Yeah.
I was going to say round because it's just got so much generosity of fruit.
Me drunk.
That particular one. So I wouldn't have said lean, but I think I'd like to try a leaner Viognier because I think it would be nicer with food if it's got a little bit more linearity rather than the full-blown fruit that I'm getting.
I think I could be wrong, but I think the warmer the region, the rounder the wine. I mean, that's just
Sorry, Tuanni, what? The
perception.
The warmer the region?
The warmer the region, the rounder the wine. So the warmer the region, you're not going to have as much acidity, right? And so like this one is a cooler region, and so we get that roundness, but then it's also finished by that acidity, right? Which kind of cuts through the roundness, cancels out a little bit of, shapes off the roundness.
Just a side note, do we know if any of these wines are partially oaked or like all fully oaked?
No, but that's what the deductive tasting is. It's like those are the assumptions that you want to make after you finish all of this, or right now. You can say, when we get to the wood part of it, do you think that it's 100% oak? Do you think that it's partial oak? If it were me, I would probably say that maybe this is like 50-50, partial oak, or maybe it's mostly oak with like a portion of it that's like 70-30. Yeah, but that would be my opinion. But we can always do the research and find out. We can probably just text Samantha right now and be like, Samantha, what's up with this? Girl, what did you do to this Viognier? You know, I love women winemakers. I feel like we
I like the photo in the background silver. The wine and two glasses. It's so cute.
Thank you. I painted it.
It's your place?
No, one of those paint and drink nights. Paint and sip.
Oh, it's cute. So cute.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's nice room.
National.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, so let's talk about the balance, right? Does any one element dominate? Is any one element more pronounced than the other one? So, for example, like some people thought this wine was off dry. Would you say the sweet flavors and aromas, are more prominent than the other aromas and the flavors in the wine? Would you say the acidity, like in Sauvignon Blanc, sometimes the acidity, like if it's not a well-made Sauvignon Blanc, the acidity can be more prominent. or would you say this wine is balanced? Like there's not any one thing that really sticks out
I want to say,
in this wine?
like the acidity does kind of like the first glass that you have. I think the roundness hits you the most. You're like, oh, this is actually round. But the more you drink it, you actually start to taste more and more of the acidity, more than the roundness. And not in a bad way though, but the acidity does overpower the roundness, but not in a bad way.
Okay.
I think the one that we have is very, very balanced. Like I get that beautiful roundness. I can pick up that oakiness in the wine. Like I can get that gorgeous, like you said earlier, Ayubelela, the wax, the beeswax kind of feeling. But at the same time, you get that hint of acidity that's like, okay, I'm not completely soft. I'm not completely like boom in your mouth. I'll give you a hint of acidity just to keep it fresh. You know what I mean?
No, I get what you're saying, but then I was gonna say too, like this is a 2018 and it's a Viognier. I feel like this is a wine that you could lay down for like 5-10 more years and you can drink it.
Okay.
And that acidity that
Yes,
you like,
it will
it'll
balance
calm
out.
down,
Yes.
right? But Mia, I
Well,
don't usually have-
Mine is 6 years old, Tuanni.
Huh?
Mine is 6 years old.
Yeah, but how's this? Is it more balanced?
It's beautiful. It's like
Right.
amazing. And the funny thing is, I had very little choice. I had this one and another one, which was a sweet something or other Viognier. So I thought I wouldn't go for the sweet one. That would be too much. So I had almost no choice.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying with Viognier. I feel like, especially if it's a well-made wine, if the winemaker is making it in a style that's meant to be aged, that, you know, if I were drinking this for evaluating it to sell or to give to a customer to buy, I would say, oh, this is great. You can drink it now and it's delicious, but you can also lay this down and it will be excellent.
Yeah, you can keep it a bit.
5 years.
Yeah,
Yeah, or maybe
exactly.
4 years from 2018.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's when you're tasting wine, that's one of the decisions that you want to make too. Like, is this wine good for today? Or do you think this wine is going to be good for tomorrow?
I haven't reached that level of wine analysis yet.
I think a lot of us. I think a lot of us.
I have made that level, but my budget has not.
I always buy more than one.
Yeah.
Just because I want to try it now
and then
decide later.
Yeah.
Have you guys? Okay, this is. I'm sorry.
Maybe you must buy 2 bottles.
Yeah, buy 2 bottles.
Exactly, or more.
Yeah,
Two bottles.
I would love to do that, but like, shoot, my budget when I went in for this one, I told them earlier, I was arguing, I was like, no, that's not the price.
That ain't the thing.
That's not the thing. I'm bougie on the budget. But yeah, so what were you gonna say though?
I was saying, I don't know if any of you have ever done this before, but there's a thing called a Coravin tasting.
Oh yeah, I have a Coravin.
Oh,
I don't know where it is.
I think it's the most beautiful thing in the world.
What is it?
It's like a syringe that you put in a bottle.
It has a needle.
Yeah, a needle that you inject, and then
you don't open your
into
bottle.
the cork. Into the cork.
Okay.
You don't open the bottle, but you get to taste it over years. So the gas that they put in it doesn't affect the wine in the bottle. So let's say you've got a case of this specific Viognier.
Yeah.
You want to know when the optimum year is to enjoy it. So every year you take the same bottle and you taste a little bit of that bottle. And then in the year that you feel, boom, that's the flavor I'm looking for, you can be like, okay, cool, maybe 5 years after I bought it, that is the flavor I want. And I think those kinds of tastings are stunning. If someone can give you that kind of analysis of their wine, you know exactly how long to age what they've got.
And plus, it's also perfect, like if you work at the wine industry or if you have a wine bar, right? Because then you can sell wine by the glass, some of your most expensive wines, and you don't have to open up the bottle. So you take this Coravin, press the button, it sucks the wine out, and then it puts a gas in there that protects the wine.
The rest of the wine, it's
stunning. I have one, but I don't know. It got lost when I moved.
I need to.
Yeah, you can.
Tuanni, where can we find the straw?
Yeah, and what is it?
It's
Where
like
I've
can
seen
we?
it online,
It's like
Aya.
a
The
Corvin.
Corovan.
A Corvin.
yeah.
How much
Corvin?
is it?
It's like
Not
$200,
very cheap.
How
$200,
much?
$200, $300.
But it lasts forever and it's so.
Sounds too much like COVID. I don't know.
Yeah.
Corbin,
Yeah,
Corbin has a really good Instagram page.
it's a good investment.
Have one every year and see what happens.
My problem with my Corbin is I'll taste the wine and I'll be like, okay, I'm just
That
gonna
tastes
taste it,
good.
and I'm like, oh shit, that tastes good. And then I'll have like one more taste, and I'm like, oh shit, that tastes
That tastes better.
And then I'm tipsy, so then by that
Just open
time
it
I'm
up.
like, shit, I might as well just open it up. So like the Corbin does not work for somebody like me because I'm telling you, I just don't have the discipline. But okay, so let's go back, and so that was our
Very
Corbin.
pricey.
Corbin, you can send $1,999 to Cash App 20 price. Okay. Okay. So now let's talk about the length and the finish. So this is how long the wine lasts after you've swallowed the wine, how long it lingers in your tongue, on your tongue, or in the back of your throat. How many flavors and aromas can you recall? This is savoring the wine. So, what do you guys
It's
say?
complicated.
Silver?
I think my wine has a wonderful finish. It does not dissipate like that. It definitely stays along my tongue. It lingers back there. Like, I'm very pleased with the finish that I'm getting.
Yeah.
I think it has a great finish.
I was gonna say ours, what we're drinking right now, like it's beautiful when you have it in your mouth, but as soon as you swallow it, it's like goodbye. Next step.
It lingers, but I don't like the linger. I don't
That
enjoy
part,
it.
yeah. For me,
That's funny.
the smell of like roses. I don't like the smell of roses, and so for me, the lingering aroma is white roses. But it does linger, but it's like these white roses
I don't
that
want
are
that.
sitting in my mouth, and I like to give them back.
So it makes me
Me
keep
too.
drinking it because I like the way it feels when it's in my mouth fresh.
This person knew how to make wine. They were like, keep drinking that wine.
Run for it.
To get
Run
rid
for
of the white rose.
I think my lingering that I do like is because of the crispness and the acidity, but it's like what I was thinking about, not lemongrass. It's a picture like spring green, like this very pretty green. That's what keeps coming to my head. And that's what's lingering, this
Spring is lingering, yeah.
pretty spring green.
Okay.
Yes.
No, and I feel like that's the same thing that I'm saying. So we're speaking the same language, and that could be just like a typical characteristic of Viognier. What about you, Mpulelo? Mpumulelo?
Yeah, so mine, I don't know if I mentioned that I felt that like on the taste was on the round end, but then the acidity only comes after, and it's similar now. It's exactly what remains, but it's not I don't hate it, like I love the roundness of it, and then the acidity just sits and
Is that
remains,
the alcohol
and I
content though?
I enjoy that about it.
Chris said, is that the alcohol content?
Isn't that the alcohol content that's, just
Oops,
yeah,
sorry.
at 14.5% right here. Keep it here. Keep it here.
Yeah, I think that's a good
That's a
point, though.
good
because,
question.
yeah, that's that alcohol. I think that's lingering. Even though I do get the greenness that's lingering. What about you, Ayubulela?
I also have the acidic taste that's left, and that greenness. But it's probably also from the alcohol content. Mine is also not 14.5, it's 14%, which is also quite high.
So would you say that it's short, medium, or medium plus, or high for the finish?
Medium.
Or low?
Medium.
Medium. Everybody
Take
says
one more
medium.
sip.
I say medium. I want to say long though, because
Mine
like
is
that,
long.
that white rose is still with me. It's still with me, that white rose.
And I keep washing it down with another sip.
Medium long.
I think mine is
Topic.
still medium. Like mine doesn't stay for too long. I'm like,
Mine
cool.
either. When I swallow it, it's gone. I can't taste it in my mouth anymore.
You can't get that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I have to keep sipping to get that.
That's what she's on.
So we all have our reasons for keep sipping. Right? It's okay. Nobody's judging. Nobody's judging. All right. So let's talk about the complexity of the wine. So Julie, would you say that your wine was low, medium, medium plus, or high complexity? I don't think Julie's with us. Julie? Is she frozen?
She's immune.
I think she's frozen.
Okay.
She's frozen.
Yeah, sorry, I did unmute for a moment because I just put some more wood on the fire to make it go strong.
Cold?
We can all go.
Medium to strong. Medium to strong.
Medium. Okay, so let's say medium plus for
Yeah,
the
medium plus
complexity.
for sure.
Anybody else?
So again, I wanna, maybe I'm not as advanced, but I wanna understand complexity. So what makes
that's a good question.
the complexity of
So what makes it complex, right? So complex is going to mean like, are there layers of different flavors? So for example, when I first tasted it, I tasted like this very fruitiness on the tip of my tongue, and then as it moved to the back of my palate, then to the middle of my palate, then I got like this nuttiness, this vanilla. Yeah, and then when it finished, it was like this acidity. So there was like so many different layers. So think of a fruit parlay. You know, parfait. Parfait. You know, and you have the different layers, right? So does this wine have different layers? Sometimes you drink a wine and it's not like a fruit parfait. It's just like a bowl of pudding, right?
Yeah. It
like,
is.
I mean, it could be vanilla custard, which is really good, but it tastes like vanilla custard all throughout.
And that's straight up vanilla custard.
Yeah, like straight
Even
up
when
vanilla
it finishes,
custard.
it's the same
It's
level.
the same, right?
I think this is, now that you mentioned the different layers, I think this wine does put you through different phases, and even if you're doing it at, like, let's say different temperatures. At the beginning, this Viognier was, for me, very, like, it had more acidity than it has now.
Mhm.
Now we've let it stand, we let it have air and some heat.
Okay.
And now I think I get more of that oaky flavor in the palate, but that hint of acidity.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's more complex than just there.
So for the complexity, you would say medium, medium plus, or high?
Medium complexity.
Okay, medium complexity. What about you, Tara?
Also, I think acidity, and then it kind of like evens out, and then, yeah.
Okay. And then
Yeah.
On your side.
On your side.
so I feel
It's not
like
black.
I feel like the for the wine that we're drinking, I feel like it's more medium plus. That's just my opinion. What about your wine? What you guys are drinking?
I wanna know what Silver
Yeah,
thinks about her French wine.
I feel like medium low to medium. Boy, I keep you know what? I gotta digress for a minute. Even when we do rating scales, I can never say, oh, it's a 5. I gotta be like 5.5 or 5.2.
We like it though. We like it.
And the reason why I'm hesitant, because I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure if I am confusing the acidity for complexity, if that makes sense.
So when we're talking about complexity right now, we're talking about complexity on like the flavors and the aromas, right? So acidity you can include, right? So like, is it complex with all the different aromas, all the different textures on your tongue, you know? So like, for example, is it a fruit parfait with granola sprinkled on top? Or
Okay, it's a medium.
Parlay, right? A fruit parlay would be with maybe cereal sprinkled on top.
Okay.
That would be like medium. If it had granola, that would be like high because the granola is crunchy, right? But the cereal is not as crunchy as the granola. Sorry, I know I'm so technical about
No, I
cereal.
love this.
But yeah, so does it have cereal or does it have granola? If it has granola, then you're gonna say it is highly complex, right? If
It is
has
medium
cereal, then
complex.
you're gonna say medium complex.
Okay.
And if it has no cereal, then you can just say it's medium minus, but it's still a fruit parfait.
It is still
right?
a layer. Yeah.
And then if it doesn't have any fruit
Okay,
flavors
cool.
like a fruit parfait, then you're just gonna say that it's just
Hmm.
not complex. It's not complex.
It's breakfast pudding.
That's why I tell people all the time. I like my man like I like my wine like I like my man.
Okay.
I quoted you last week.
Rich,
Oh yes.
strong.
Oh.
Oh, amen. Amen.
Yes.
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 Patsy
Rich,
has
strong,
good
We have
complex.
complex.
I want the granola and everything, right?
I'm complex minded.
Maybe cereal on top.
I'm not cereal.
Cereal on top. Okay.
I like cereal. I like what's that? Fruit Loops. Fruit Loops is fine.
Fruit Loops
Sometimes.
is fine.
Sometimes Fruit Loops is okay.
I love it. All right, so sorry, I didn't mean to talk about my dating life. I just need to talk about wine. Okay, so let's talk about. Okay, so now, gosh, I'm so sorry, Takura and I promise you guys, I'm gonna get these names right. I'm gonna dream about them. All right, so now we're going to talk about the final conclusion of the wine. So this is when you just start to make your final judgment. So like I said, basically you were taking these Lego blocks, you were taking these things that you thought about the wine, and you're building, right? And so now you're saying, are you building a skyscraper, or are you building just like this regular like storage unit, right?
Oh.
So I think that with this wine that we're drinking, I feel like we're building a skyscraper. And you want to start making decisions like, do you think that it's Old World or New World? Old World would be French wines. French wines tend to be a little bit more earthy, and you get those earthy aromas. New World tend to be more like fruit-forward, fruity aromas and flavors. So for me, I think our wine was New World.
Definitely.
Definitely New World. What about you guys? Do you think your wine was New World style or Old World style?
Very New World. It's
New World.
full of everything. Lots of fruit, lots of flavor, lots of alcohol, lots of everything. Very New World.
Anybody else? New World or Old World?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so if yours was New World, just raise your hand or raise your glass. Yay. Oh no.
Cool.
Cheers. Cheers. Don't cheers with me. Don't mess with my sex life.
You gotta have eye contact.
Eye contact.
And then you want to say the possible grapes. We know everybody knows because we're drinking Viognier. The climate, you want to say if it's cool, moderate, or warm. Ours is definitely cool. You can know that because of the acidity. Anybody else, your climate? Silver, what about you? Would you say that your climate was cold, warm, or moderate?
I'm a cheater because I looked it up, but I think it's southeastern, so milder. Sorry, milder. I don't think it's a cold region.
Southeastern, yeah, I think southeastern France is warmer than northern.
So that's definitely warmer.
Okay, yeah.
Which may explain why it was like pears and some of those other
The
notes.
north of France is colder.
Yes, that is definitely.
Moselle region.
Mhm.
What about you, Julie? Is your wine from a cold?
Mine's from Franchoc. So how would you describe that?
Warmer, maybe.
I think very moderate because they have hills and valleys.
Yeah.
I think definitely Franchoc gives you hot days.
It's Franchoc. So
It's literally the French corner.
Yeah.
Is it French look like Santa Barbara region?
I think so. Like northern Santa Barbara region, though.
Okay.
Like northern Santa Barbara region, where it's not like southern Santa Barbara region. I think it's going to be warmer. Like Stellenbosch is definitely warmer than French Hook.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, and so I think that's when you think about French Hook. If you compare it to Saint-Inez, French Hook would be like Santa Maria.
Okay.
But it's not like Sonoma Coast, which is going to be colder. Yeah, sorry, I just had to break it down in American talk.
yeah, no.
That makes sense to me.
American geography.
Yeah,
But
totally makes
Franchoc's
sense.
got the mountains and it's got the valley. So yeah. It's a bit like here. It is cold in the mornings and the evenings.
Yeah. But remember at harvest time. Remembering at harvest time, it's the heart of summer. So
Yeah.
those grapes, January and February is the heart of summer, and they pick it at a specific time between a certain time.
Yeah.
So that is also.
Is that when they pick?
Yeah, and it's what
Like
is the
2
way
to
they
4
get there,
a.m.,
Julie?
yeah.
Now,
Okay.
Julie, you know, in summer it gets really hot.
Yeah, it's stinking hot.
Oh,
In
and
Georgia.
It's the extremes. It's colder in winter and hotter in summer.
hot.
So,
hot.
so then, like, the final conclusion is, like, on the Court of Master Sommeliers, they make this final conclusion, and I don't know if I agree with this. I think I like the WSCT method a little bit more. I like a hybrid of the two, right? Because I do like how detailed they are with the Court of Master Sommeliers, but when you get to the conclusion and the final things, I don't necessarily like their final conclusion, because they say for the quality, you say Grand, Premier Cru, Reserva, Grand Reserva, etc., right? And I liked it when we were doing WSCT, and for the quality, it was like poor. No, it was like acceptable.
Acceptable. I will
Acceptable. Like, who wants to date a guy who's just acceptable?
No.
Right? Like acceptable, good, and then like outstanding or something. Right?
Wow. Good to outstanding.
Good to outstanding, but acceptable is just like, oh.
I don't want any acceptable.
Welcome. Thank you for
anything.
coming.
Yeah,
I don't
it
want
was
any
nice knowing you.
acceptable.
So, like, let's just go with those. Like, was it poor? Was it acceptable? Was it good? Or was it outstanding? So, let's start off with Abu Layla.
Hi.
Aya Bulela.
Aya Bulela. Aya Bulela.
Yes.
Layla.
Le.
Le.
Le. Hey.
Aya Bulela.
It was good. I would buy this again. I would not tell someone not to get it. I don't know. Is that an option?
That's a good one.
That's how you sell wine.
We need a Tuanni tasting conclusion.
Alright.
I would buy it again.
No, let's say this. Okay, how about you say this? Okay, even for the men, you would never date this person again.
Okay.
You go on a second.
You go on a second date to find out what's going on. You
Mhm.
for sure can't wait for them to call you.
Okay.
And this is the person you're gonna marry.
Wow. I like that.
I like
That is a great.
Yeah.
So they say the options again.
All right. So let's see.
So I'll go again.
Takura. Wait. So what did you say, Layla?
Can I go again then?
Yes. Tell us what you're gonna do with this one.
So Malelo asked for the options to be repeated. The first one
Yeah,
was
I need the options.
so the first one was not to date again. The second one was to go to a second date to find out what's happening. Second
Yes.
be to definitely date, and then the fourth one would be I am marrying this person.
Yes.
So my option is I will go on a second date with this man.
Yes.
Hey.
Okay. Takura.
Yeah, no, I'm friend zoning this one. We can hang out.
Beautiful.
I like that friend zone. Okay, so friend zone. Okay.
Friend zone.
I feel you on the friend zone. It's fun, but it's not the
Friend zone.
excited for second date.
No, friend
kind of
zone
thing.
is saying that I don't want to go out with him.
Yeah.
No, but
Like if I need to borrow $20, I'm
I
not gonna let you go because I might need to get $20.
Like if I need wine, I'ma buy that. But if there are other wines,
Like if we're on
that are more interesting, I'm gonna leave you behind.
Yes. If it's lockdown, that's my only choice.
I would still give this a second date.
Okay, Silver, what would you say about you?
I like the analogy like if I don't have another choice, then I'll call you up and see what you're doing. Okay.
Solo, you'll be like 2 a.m. call. What you doing?
Pretty cool.
Okay, I love that. Julie, come on, tell us what
Oh, definitely a second date.
Okay,
To get to know the
excited about the
wine
second
better.
date? Are you curious about the second date? Because there's a difference.
Or are you hungry?
Yes.
Girls gotta
I'm drunk. I want more.
So that's an
That's a good one
exciting
too.
second day.
Second date. Are you going on the second date because you're curious?
I'm excited for the second date.
Oh,
She's
she's
excited.
excited.
Okay.
Excited.
Good.
Nice.
Looking forward to the second date.
Impumelo.
I thought it was very complex, and I think maybe I didn't have enough time, with it. And I think that a second date, out of curiosity to see maybe with lunch or something on a Sunday, what do we have? You know what I mean? Like out of curiosity, we'll go on a second date.
You
With
need
a
further
meal.
assessment.
So,
What you saying? Pumalelo, that's your Cape Town name, okay? Pumalelo, okay? That's your Cape Town name, okay? So I hear you saying between second date potentially meeting Mama.
No.
No.
I didn't hear anything about
Not
that.
mama. Not
Yes,
mama. No.
Okay.
He said second date and a lunch date. There's a difference between a lunch date
Oh,
and a
and a
dinner
dinner
date.
date.
Oh!
There is a difference. There is
There
a
is a
difference. There is a difference.
I see you. Yes, that's a very good point. So second date, lunch date. He went for the date for curiosity.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Dinner date means we have plans after work.
Yes, yes. Dinner date means we have plans. Dinner date means we have plans.
Yeah. All right. So what about you, ladies? Come on now. Who?
I think this is. I'm so torn. This is like a, not like brunch, but like I'm intrigued. So I'm between a Mpumelelo date and a dinner date.
Oh, like a late brunch.
Exactly, like
Lapper. Between supper and lunch.
like
Lapper.
Lapa.
You've given me enough to be like, ooh, I want to find out what's happening here.
And you're gonna dress different than lunch, so you might put some heels on. Because
Exactly.
at lunch you might wear sandals.
No,
But
100%.
lunch you're gonna wear some
I'm
heels.
gonna be like, I'm gonna show off my
But
best.
dinner you're gonna wear
that mini and be
Yes,
like, I'm in business. So
Yes.
I'm between lunch and dinner date at this
for the
stage.
second. But you're excited.
I'm very excited. I want to see what more you have to offer in like a year or so.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I think
Ooh.
that's mine too. I
Yeah.
too
Nice.
love that wine.
That's
Yeah, yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. What about you?
I'm with Mpumelelo. I think lunch date, Sanjay sandals vibes, curious for the second date.
Okay.
Yeah.
Curious.
Yes.
What about you, Monica?
Just second date. You don't need to feed me.
Wait. You don't know right to their apartment.
You always
No.
need to feed me.
No, it's just like let's meet at the coffee shop. It's
I
not. I don't really feel like spending a whole lot of time with you. I just need 20 minutes to enjoy you again, and then determine if you're potential to meet the parent.
Wow.
Ooh.
Minutes. Meet the parents or not.
What about you?
I'm not gonna be too invested right now. I'm gonna take this number and put it in the little black book and wait a little while. I think that it's got great potential, but I do believe with time it will get even better. And if well stored and correctly stored, and it would
So
be
you're
great.
keeping the wine on ice and hoping that the wine don't find a wife.
Oh, we need to throw the bones. We throw the bones. You know what I mean, guys? So I'm just saying.
Let this wine
I'm
be on
kidding.
ice.
So what about you? So I feel like I could date this wine. Like,
Really?
I feel like I'm excited. I mean, I'm not claiming marriage or anything yet,
Okay.
but I am excited about this. And I feel like this wine has a lot of potential.
Yes.
So it has a lot of potential, and I don't want to put it back on the shelf because somebody else might get it.
take it.
And I'm excited. Like, I feel like I would go out to dinner on the second date and I would get dressed up. And I feel like this wine would show up on the second date.
Pink
you
dress.
know?
You
It's
said
pink dress. Yeah. I think this wine would show up on the second date, and I would want to keep it around to see how it develops.
Yeah. I just personally don't feel that over invested in it because there's so many other fish in the sea. Grapes of the vine.
But I like next week instead of doing
We're putting
like
this in a book. This is copywritten, okay?
Yes.
We legally own this. Nobody else writes this in a book, or we will sue you. But like,
That's right.
we're coming at you. Wow.
Patent is pending.
Wow.
Yes. Okay, I love it.
Aya
I
Beulah is saying
wonder
something.
I just wonder if everybody's saying these things because also, I mean, purely based on the actual wine, or also based on the grape, because we generally just don't drink Viennese on the general, you know.
I could be biased because Viognier happens to be one of my favorite white wine grapes. Like, I love Viognier from Santa Ynez. When I first fell in love with wine, it was one of the grapes that I was drinking a lot of. So Viognier and Syrah, I'm totally biased. So whenever we taste those grapes, I'll probably, especially if it's a good one, I'll probably lean more towards like the good second date. That's just how I am about it.
I am not that like, I would say invested in specifically white grapes. I'm never like, ooh, the only white grape I think, goodness me, I have to go and taste is a Gewürztraminer. If I find out that any grape has a Gewürztraminer, I'm like, girl, let me taste that. Let me get the man.
Sorry, the only one that I actually know of is from Paul Kluver, and they discontinued it. And
Girl, there are so many beautiful Gewürztraminers that are in like Stellenbosch area that are totally different to your normal. So you know, you get your German Gewürz, which is super sweet and super oaked and just like, oh, Christmas. I call it a Christmas wine. I even introduced it to the tune of Feliz Navidad, but you go, Gewürztraminer. Gewürztraminer. But then you get Gewürztraminers that are completely stainless steel and like amazing spicy jasmine, just like, I'ma come at you, but also when I leave you, you're gonna miss me.
I love
that kind of Gewürztraminer.
Yeah.
Can you please?
I'm gonna meet that chick right there.
I want to meet that.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite white grape. I think if ever I had to choose one, Gewürztraminer is my favorite white grape because she's so temperamental. Like where she is and how she's harvested will determine what she tastes like in a year, in 5 years, in 20 years, and she's rare.
Okay.
Yes.
She has a specific bottle.
Can you please?
That's your marketing.
Sorry.
One of my favorite Gewürztraminers is a wine estate that I used to work at, Zevenwacht. It's part of their like super elite range. Like literally, you can only buy it at the estate. I don't think you can buy it online even. But gorgeous and
I think I saw it at my wine store.
it's like only no oak, nothing else. Just the grape in stainless steel for about 8 months. And then you get to taste the years. I think that vine is about 32 years old, and you just get that like initial fruitiness. She's like leading you on with fun, and then she's like, "Bitch, I'm spicy. I got it." That is the wine that you want.
Man,
Type the name of that one into the chat.
Our next meeting was gonna be red, but damn, now I want it to be
Okay,
question.
so we're gonna do the books.
No.
I'm gonna see what I can do.
Okay, we don't talk about that.
Sorry, Tuanni, can you please ask her to share her details because I want to DM her for her list of her.
I will get you her details. I'll you believe that. Anybody else?
I'd like to have a chat about the J9 lines, if there's any possibility of that happening. I think maybe we can bring some over to Zimbabwe and see how
I'm
they.
gonna move
so you can sit here.
Do you want to sit here? So, okay, so we are going to, anybody else have any questions? How about one more over? How about anybody else have any questions about or any comments about their Viogniers before we move to talk about J9 wines?
I have one comment. I want to speak about Julie's wine. She spoke about the dog and she didn't understand the connection. Actually, the connection is that Molly is a dog on the Morrison farm and she's blind. And that's why they actually donate the some of the proceeds to the Blind Association. I have a bubbly. If you can hold 1 second, I will show it to you.
So it's a wine in profit of guide dogs. You want to bring
And then this is the
Miss Molly, can you
that looks so good.
and then at the back they actually have something in Braille. I'm not sure if it's on your bottle also, and it's a message, and you can like read it and decipher it, and it's because of a doggy, and yeah. So I bought the wine because of the story, and it's actually a good, and it's actually a good bubbly also.
So cute.
That is super cute.
That's clever. Thank you.
Before you guys get started, I have to bid farewell. We just entered phase 3, and so all of the personal like waxing and stuff opens up today, and I have an appointment. So
Usually we pull them from a hat, but I couldn't find my things because people were here. So we have a choice. We can either move on to red or we can do Gewürztraminer.
The beach,
I'm ready. I need red. I need a red in my life, and then we can do a Gewürztraminer.
Can you give a suggestion?
Might be tricky for me to
Can
find.
we give a suggestion? I think that it's very hard to find that specific varietal. So maybe we need 2 weeks to go look for it. So maybe let's another week we come back and do that one.
Okay. Yes. So how about the Syrah? Because Syrah should be
Yes. I love Syrah. I love Syrah. Okay, Syrah.
Yes.
Whatever.
So Silver, go take care of yourself.
yes, I'll see you all next week.
Do it. Take one for the team.
We are
Amanda.
No.
Yes. All right. Bye, everyone. I'll see you next week.
Have a nice meeting you, Silver. Be safe.
Be silver.
All right, so we are going to transition and we are going to talk about, okay, so I wish we could like have some kind of curtain and then just come up because we are going to talk about J9 wine. Maybe we can like a drum roll. All right, wait, you know what? No, we should share this with the Blacc, not with the Blacc, but with the Blacc Wine Lovers group in
The Blacc Wine Lovers group.
Yeah, let's
If you want to follow it, if you haven't followed it yet, please do. It's at Blacc Wine Lovers, right? With the S. Lovers.
Gosh, what's wrong with my social media?
It always does. It doesn't want to work at the best time. But thank you to Kura for asking about J9. That's actually super, super cool.
Thanks, Takura. I wish my business partner.
We don't have it in Zimbabwe.
Follow our page. It's J9 Wine. It's exactly as you see it there.
And J9 Wine.
That's it.
So do you want to jump in, Chris?
Tell us about the operation. Like, what do you guys do?
All right. Is there specific questions you'd like, Takura?
No, just a general overview.
All right. About the story of the
Okay,
wine itself, or
Okay, let me introduce you.
technicalities?
Let me introduce
Yeah, just.
Thank you.
All right. So let's start all over. So let's
Ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, wait, ladies and gentlemen. Wait, let's see. Let me get this hair together for a second. Wait, 1 second. Let me get it right.
I'm doing the ad break once more.
Yeah, do the ad break. All right. So are we ready for the drum roll? Come on, Monica. Let's get in here.
3, 2, 1, go.
So I would like to introduce you. Hi, my name is Tuanni Price, and I am here with my wine squad. We just came up with the new system for evaluating wine, and we'll tell you about that in the future. But for right now, we have the wonderful, the lovely Miss Christensen from J9 Wines. J9 Wines is a Black-owned wine brand here in South Africa. It's run by two amazing women, Christensen and Janine. And we actually have Chris right here on our show today.
Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Excited to be here. Where's Ellen?
Ellen is behind the couch.
Yes. Ellen is hiding. Well, she's in quarantine. She didn't pass the fever test. So we're going to talk to Chris about what exactly J9 Wine is. Why don't you first just telling us the J9 story? What is J9? What does it mean? Why J9?
Okay, great. So J9 Wine started 4 years ago, officially registered. J9 stands for Janine, so you can also follow her. She should be online right now as Janine Peterson. So J9 actually stands for Janine. So all the Janines out there, guys, if you want to win them over, or there's a girl's name Janine, get them a bottle of J9 Wine. So you are a winner already. Janine herself is, played with the big boys in the industry. She was putting on the numbers for your big boys, I should say, in the industry. Yes, that's the best way I can put it, to be politically correct right now. And she realized, if I can do this for them, how much more for myself? So the single mother of two from Atlantis, Western Cape,
Did you
South
say Atlanta?
Africa. Atlantis, not the ATL.
The lost city of Atlantis.
Yes.
Atlantis, okay.
So you get forced removals, then you get the Atlantis, like beyond,
Like it's out there. It's far. It's far from the city and far from the business center.
It's a 2-hour bus ride every day for her, in and out.
Wow.
And this is how dedicated she's been, right?
Wow.
So she was short. She knocked on so many doors, and she wanted a partnership because Janine knew exactly what she wanted. She's proudly a wine snob. She owns that status. And if it's good wine, it's good wine. It's bad wine, it's not bad. It's bad, right? Nobody wanted to give her a partnership where she can develop the wine according to what our clientele is. That's what she wanted. What companies, when you partner up with these farms, basically what happens, they want to take your black name and slap it on and get their BEE status, and then you don't actually have any characteristics of your own embedded in the actual wine itself. But because Janine's persistent, she gets what she wants because the goal is clear. Right? We don't have the luxuries of faffing around. So we have a partnership with a wine in Stellenbosch. Janine goes in every harvest. She blends the wine alongside the wine maker. And last year she was officially now a winemaker through UC Stellenbosch University. So now we're moving on to the next level, but that's basically how it started. I joined 2 years ago, so anything and everything that's market related, money in the bank results, black people growing in the industry, humans growing in the industry, and especially the youth growing, South African youth growing in this industry. It's not easy, guys.
Can you tell us about, that's so awesome. I'm super proud of both you and Janine. Amazing, right? And I love how she made it a point to make sure, she said that I don't want to just have my name on the label. I actually want to help with the blending. I also want to be a winemaker. Kudos. Hands on. But more importantly, not even more importantly, I'm sorry, but can you just talk to us a little bit about some of the work that you guys have done and how you've traveled the world, promoting not only J9 brands, but South African wine brands in general, wines made by people of color. I'm a champion for that myself. So when you talk about that, I get super excited. I like it chills.
Well, guys, in the industry itself, we understand the history we come from. So we don't moan about it. We focus on the way forward. What we realize is because black people don't yet own land and farms in our province, even though we're born and bred here, and our families worked on these very farms. So way we move forward is we collab. I can provide an amazing Merlot, beautiful depth, not too pricey for the Asian market, the easy drinking wine. But you do get people who love the more complex wines in life. But we need to supply our customers. So what we do is we work hand in hand on the trend called hashtag Wine of Color SA. So it's hashtag Wine of Color, colors, American color, 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 SA for South Africa. It's a platform that we use to access markets as a collab to ensure we maintain the quality of South African wines, but ensuring at the same time the customer gets the quantity as well. So in lining ourselves like that, we are more powerful in numbers. So what we did is, the two of us, Janine and I, we said, how do we service our client the best way we can, and how do we empower our people? Number one, females, because we are the disadvantaged. You know, in the current right now, and how do we just bowl together? Hashtag Wine of Color. We first launched at World Travel Market Africa in 2019. We worked our asses off, guys, and hustle our asses off to get to Pro Wine Asia in Hong Kong of May.
Yes.
We then flew over to
Wait a second, slow down.
Sorry.
Slow down.
Yeah.
So no, I think that what she failed to realize is they went to, okay, I'm gonna rewind for a second, right? Because they went to Pro Wine in Asia, right? Like Pro Wine. And that's one of the biggest wine trade markets in the world, right? It's this whole marketplace where if you have a wine, you go take your wine there so that you can shop it to distributors, right? And so they went to Pro Wine, and they actually had a stand at Pro Wine, which was amazing. And they were the only Black-owned wine brand in all of Pro Wine. Thousands and thousands of producers.
And we have a South African section. And guys, it's a platform where people say, oh, it's only for white people, it's only for white people. White people don't care. Literally, they don't care that you're black. It's you that care about it, but how you can take ownership of this. And now I can shine like a diamond because now I'm exotic. I'm not black, I'm not a female, I'm exotic, and I can produce what the customer wants, and that's all they care about on a first world basis, especially in Asia. So this gave me a platform. Now I'm not a female only, and I'm not black. I'm the girl that can do the job.
And brings culture and sass and class
That's
and
it.
everything.
Black and bougie. Black and bougie.
Yeah.
Black and
Like
bougie.
Savage. That's our new theme song.
Classy.
When I did the Sommeliers Cup last year, the Asian guys were really, really into South African wines. I'm sure you'll find a lot more South African wine in Asian restaurants. Yeah, like Pinotage, they were mad about South African Shiraz. They were also mad about Chenin Blanc. So that's like the major things that we looked at.
Yep, it was really interesting market. The Hong Kongese market is absolutely amazing. It's a very diverse crowd, lots and lots of expats and interracial marriages that produce expat kids, you know, in Asia. And you know, these are the younger wine drinkers, and only to access only 1% of this market, guys, I'm set for life. Do you understand? And when I hear exports, it's duty free in Hong Kong. Two winners, free, my favorite word, right? So that was a very interesting market. South Korea, on the other hand, I heard 40% duties. I was switched off. I didn't want to do anything else. But we understood the culture.
South African guy. I know a South African guy who exports into South Korea.
Now.
I think that you should, for people like me who don't really understand custom and duties and taxes and things like that. So what does that mean? So 40%, if you sell them a bottle of wine, they can tax 40% on that bottle of wine.
And that will determine what the price to the customer would be, which means I have to sell my $6 valued wine. The Asians would then want to pay $2 for it. What's my ROI in this regard? So I need to understand the end goal, which is the customer, and we work our way back. You understand? And then we need to ensure that we can supply the customer with great product because we're putting our South African name on it, right? We got a status to uphold, and we're working with the first world guys, your Portuguese guys, you know, they're the leaders of the pack. So we need to make sure we give them the right price, and duties must be taken into account. So can you imagine how much cheaper I can give my product to an Asian, you know, in a supermarket, for example, because you can buy wine in Hong Kong 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, from a vending machine to a 7-Eleven. If there's no cut-off time. Yeah, so I'm just from the business point though. But I'd like Tuanni to give a little bit of insight on the wine side because I trust her.
You mean like the taste, right?
Yes, what's your opinion? It is an entry level, it's meant for an entry level wine, just
So-
above, just a little.
Just, you know, I think that I like the wine. I enjoy the wine. So I bought a case. Not even a bottle.
Thank you.
Investment.
It was a case of the Merlot, right? Was it the Merlot? It was a case of the Merlot, and I think I have like one bottle left. But I drank the wine. We had steak that night for dinner. So they personally delivered the wine. So first of all, I love the customer service. I love the fact that my problem or my issue with Black people in business, in the wine business, sometimes it's not easily accessible buying the wine. So sometimes when you want to buy the wine and I say, hey, I want a case of wine, they're like, you know, do a bank draft or jump to this hoop or jump to that hoop. I like the fact that I was like, yo, you sent this thing on the Black WhatsApp group about, hey, we have this case special, and I wanted to support. So I was like, okay, how can I buy the wine? She was like, no problem. Here's the pay link. Pay this pay link, and we'll have the wine delivered to you.
It was just that simple
It
for
was
me too.
my
I just bought
bought some
some.
too.
I tasted the Chenin Blanc today, and I was like, "Oh, I have to have this in my life." I got the link in like 10 minutes. I went ahead and put my credit card in there, and I'll have my wine.
Same for me, and so I had the same type of experience. So that's one thing I love that, because when you talk about the business side of it and making these wines accessible and easy to get is very, very important, right? So kudos to you guys for being
thanks,
very
man.
professional and awesome like that. And so then I got the wine, and she's like, oh, it'll be delivered tomorrow or something like that. Next thing I know, she's like, what's your address? We're bringing the wine over to deliver. And I was like, oh my God, you guys are going to deliver it personally? In that case, come up, let's eat, let's chat, right? So they came up, they bought the wine, we opened up a bottle of Merlot, and when I tasted it, it was delicious. It reminded me of California, it reminded me of home, because it was fruit forward, it was structured, it was just a delicious wine, especially for the price point. So I wouldn't have thought that the price that they charged me for the wine was how much the wine cost. I would have paid a little bit more for the wine than what the actual wine cost. So I love the wine.
They're over-delivering.
The price point.
Yeah, I think what's also super cool about the wine, like just to jump in, I've also just recently met you guys and fell in love with J9. I think what's so cool and what's quintessentially like South African about the wine is it's a wine to enjoy and have like right now. Yeah, like we're not the kind of people who are like, give me 10 years on this wine. We're like, what have you got here? Is it good? And I will have more of it. And that's exactly what, like, precisely this moment was my first wine too.
I don't know what I'm going to be doing in the next 10 weeks. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy that
I don't know what I'm going to be doing in the next 10 weeks. But,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, like, we need to try and maybe get some of your wine into Zimbabwe. So I'm in Zim.
I'll personally deliver it when the borders open. I want to.
We can export, so we fine.
We're running to.
We can export. Exports are open, and we export ready, so we good.
You know what? And then
border is open.
If you send in a pallet, maybe you can say, "Can I rent a spot?" And send it over.
I'm always open to business anywhere in the world. It's all good, and I'm happy that you said that, was because the wine itself, Janine designed the wine to ensure that it's a wine that you want to drink on and on. It's an easy drinking wine. That is why the Asian market grasped so well onto it, because they are new world wine drinkers in the masses.
Yeah,
you
so
understand?
We have a question about. So I have a question on Facebook, and they said, can they get the wine in the U.S.? And
yes, Yes,
you
yes.
guys have
You can access it from our link from rsamay.co.za/J9Wine. Maybe we could just share it on the actual group itself, the message. Yes, rsamay.co.za. Just type in J9Wine. J9Wine. It will give you the options. You can pay in dollar and you can pay in rand.
Okay. Okay, so wait, tell me what it is again, or you just pop it in there again. So yeah, so you definitely can get it in the US, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I love companies that are accessible. They just make it super, super easy. And then it's also to drink a wine and to actually know the story behind drinking the wine.
That is
right?
what sells wine to me. That's like what makes wine so special.
Yeah.
If you know that, like, you know, these are two hardworking women defying almost all odds to go ahead and make this beautiful wine.
Yeah.
I mean, why don't you want to be part of that? Like, I'm just
Yeah, and
like,
that's what I'm saying. I love the way that you said that too, because like there's so many different wine brands on the market, right? And you go to the store, you go to the bottle store, and you can pick any wine. But then I feel like when you know this story, you're a part of that label. You're a part of that brand. And yeah.
Is
so-
J9 available in the stores in South Africa?
It's very expensive.
Where?
It's super expensive, you know, and it's been very hard for us to get on because we tadpoles in a big pond of 300 years of running, you know. So, but the cool thing is, guys, we will be opening a shop at Cape Town International. It's supposed to open in October. It's a hashtag Wine of Color SA shop. We won't only be selling J9 wine, but we are now prepping. We've remodeled the entire layout for the shop to be COVID ready. So
Is it at the
and once
at
it's
the
out,
airport?
Yes, at Cape Town International Airport for
Okay.
now.
Yep.
But you're welcome to access. You know, you are in South Africa. Is this right?
She's in Great.
yeah, great. We'll take a drive.
Yeah.
We'll take a drive. She said she has 4 rooms.
I mean, I'm ready. I love Greyton so much.
And I've never been.
They've got
It's
this
a
beautiful
gorgeous,
candle
it's a
store.
beautiful little town.
They've got this gorgeous little market on a Saturday and like a candle shop, and I'm just like, I want to live in Greyton forever. So maybe we'll
cute.
come out for a weekend and bring some J9 wines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. Can you talk about the varietals that you guys have? So I know you have the Merlot.
Send some up the road first, though. Send some up the road as well.
Sorry.
I was gonna. Can you send some up the road to Zimbabwe first?
Yes, you can order from anywhere in the world. Like, we are proudly South African, official proudly South African members. So we actually do sell it to the rest of the world via RSA Made. And that allows, they do international, so you can buy a box. You understand? One box, which is enough for you to try for now, for example. You know, exports are open though.
Can I get a big box?
So you only need a box. And I think it's $50.
Can I get a mixed
per
box?
box. Is that all money?
But do you do a mixture of what you make, or do you just have the one? How many lines do you make?
All right, so we have the Merlot. We also have the Chenin Blanc, a Sauvignon Blanc, and a Cabernet Merlot. It's 70% Cab, 30% Merlot. It's a bit more robust than your Merlot. Men tend to love it.
I love
because it really just, you know, it's got that robustity, just like really good, and men love it because it females enjoy the smooth, the round, the Merlot, because it's a lot easier drinking in comparison.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love your Cab Merlot blend though.
Hang on.
It's
I might
one of
have
those.
missed one. I've gotten you down. I've gotten 5 types of wine that you make. I've got a Merlot, a Chenin, a Sauvignon Blanc, and a Bordeaux blend, which is like a Merlot Cabernet, you said.
Did you say Bordeaux?
Like just 2 Bordeaux cultivars.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, don't say that. That's illegal.
Bordeaux style.
Bordeaux
You mean
style.
style.
Also Bordeaux
Can you tell
blend.
us?
Yeah.
Can you tell us what's next for J9? Like, in a perfect world, when COVID is kind of done or under the cover and the world opens up, Like, what should we expect from J9?
Oh, guys, everything's supposed to wait now the way we are because we're supposed to boom this year, and that means we're not ready yet. So let's just relax. But with the next range now, this is our entry level range. Remember, we're only around for 4 years. The next step for Janine, she's a pinotage because South Africa is associated to pinotage in the rest of the world, and then we want to move into a bubbly. So we torn between getting our own prosecco and then doing that way because of the Asian market, but your MCC is important as well. So it's all about the budget.
They'll love prosecco.
Love prosecco.
Yes, it's great bottle, easy drinking.
I think that will be popular. Prosecco from South Africa.
Correct, but we're not legally allowed to say that.
So what will you call it? Just sparkling white.
We'd say, styled. But even that can get you into trouble. But we'll
Styled.
figure it out, man. There's many ways to skin a cat, Julie.
Yeah, you have to figure it out.
Yes, then it's just a shoddy as well.
Bring a shot.
Gotta bring a shoddy, yeah.
Very exciting.
Can you
Okay.
tell us how to get in touch with you?
Okay, great. You guys ever want to get in touch with us, you can directly DM us on our page.
On the brand.
On the gram, it's J9Y, South
Like
Africa.
the number or like
the number.
So J
9.
and then 9.
And Y. In fact, my suggestion is just Google us.
Yeah,
J9Y.
sure.
I know.
Google me, baby.
Google me.
Google me, baby.
You know, it's so funny because years ago when I heard somebody say that, this guy told me that in the club. We were talking,
me.
and he was
Oh,
like,
no.
Google me.
Oh,
And I was like, what?
honey.
Hell no.
Yeah, but now I want to be like, Google me.
Google me.
But not in that kind of way. I'm just like, you know what? Dang, if you really want to know, just Google me.
Yeah.
Just
Like,
read up.
you don't trust it? Google me.
Do your research,
Do your
baby.
research. So Google J9, J, and then the number 9, mind. Give me some feedback. Let me know. Tell me if you agree with me. I think it's like food forward. Reminds me of home. I love the Merlot. I can't wait to taste. I tasted the Cab. I think I tasted a lot of wines when you guys were at the World Trade Market.
Yeah. You did. We had all of it, but it was lit.
Yeah, it was pretty lit.
I tasted their 2016 Cab Merlot recently, and it was stunning. Like, I'll be honest, I'm not a big Cab lover. I'm not like, ooh, give me that Cab and all those tannins. But this was so beautifully balanced, and where it comes in that they're making wine for people to enjoy, and that's it.
Yeah.
You don't want to feel when you're drinking a wine, you don't want to feel like, oh my god, I'm out of my depth. Like, this is way over me, and that's what that Cab Merlot
Or
tastes like.
sometimes you don't want to have a whole conversation about like, okay, the color and the tannins and the acidity. You just want to drink a wine. You want to be like, I like it. I
feel
don't
good.
like it.
Yeah,
and you know,
I feel great.
I feel great.
Honestly, but and you know, in guys in the wine world, honestly speaking, people get so technical, and I've got respect for those people because they come with
That's
longevity.
what I do. Don't talk about me.
And that's okay. But at the end of the day, do you like the wine? Do you want another glass?
You buy the wine.
Do you want the wine? Would you like a bottle?
Do you want a case?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you say, I'd buy a case of that. then
No,
it's-
wait, no. What's our new dating thing? Like, I
Already?
say them again. Like, yeah.
It's a hell no.
Day.
Hell no. Second date.
It was friend zone.
Okay. Friend zone. Second date. Excited.
Friend zone
Yeah.
is in the middle.
Serious. Second
Friend
date.
zone's in the middle.
Excited.
I love hanging out.
What does he say?
Wait. Takara, what did you say?
Friend zone somewhere in the middle. Friend zone is somewhere in the middle.
No.
Like, I don't hate it.
No.
I can hang out with it.
No.
Okay,
No, I have enough
no.
friends. I'm a grown-ass woman. I don't
Okay,
need friends.
so we're gonna
No.
go hell no, friend zone, meaning we can hang, but we're not like
Hell no, friend zone. Okay.
No, okay, so hell no. Friend zone means we can hang when I need maybe $20 or a bill.
when I need you.
Yes, when
Really,
I need you.
like, so friend zone is when I need you.
Yes.
Like, I need you bad. Then we have 2 second date options.
Yes.
Like, curious second date, and second one is excited. Okay, and then we have hell yes, marry.
Mary, this is my
Lock it.
husband. We gon' lock it down. What I gotta do? Yes.
Well, that's the
Remember-
next level for the
Okay.
J9. But right now, I will settle for the dinner date.
Second date excited.
No,
Second date excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, second date excited. It's definitely a second date excited wine.
Also, what price points are you guys at J9? Like, have you got different price points, or have you just got one range?
Look, our wine normally goes for like 600 to 800 rands a box right now. A case. But we've got a special running right now. So in South Africa, it's free delivery and a hygiene pack. So just an FYI throughout South Africa.
Nice.
COVID ready.
COVID ready.
COVID ready. Yes. Okay, so we talked about the long-term future, like after COVID is like gone and out of our life. Bye, Rona. But what about next week? So next week we're gonna do something super fun. I'm super happy to announce it right now because we just came up with this today. So on June 20th, it's International Chenin Blanc Day.
Yeah. Wines
What is it?
Wines of South Africa.
Wines of South Africa. Wines of no, I know what it is. But
Yeah.
Is it International Chenin Blanc
Maybe
Day or
it's-
South African Chenin Blanc Day?
Takura, you international.
Is
For me,
it
international.
We're changing it because I'm from LA. We got Takura from Zimbabwe. We have Silver from like New York. So we're changing it to International Chenin Blanc Day, and we're representing for International Chenin Blanc Day. So we're gonna have J9 take over like the Zuri Wine Tasting Instagram page, the Zuri Wine Tasting Facebook page, and we are literally gonna bug the shit out of you guys, talking about Chenin Blanc, drinking J9 Chenin Blanc all day. We might drink some other Chenin Blancs too, but we're definitely
What's the
gonna
date?
have a J9 Chenin Blanc
20th of
celebration.
June. 20th of June, Takura.
What's the date?
20th of June.
It's on Saturday.
20th of June. Oh man,
Next Saturday.
I might not have enough time to get me some of the.
Wait, what did he say? He said
I won't have enough time to get some of your wine to me.
I'm busy.
Okay,
He
great.
said it gives him enough time to.
Yes.
No, I would love to have. I'd love to have some J9 wine and join in the fun. I might have to have some other because I don't have enough time to get it.
Cool. I've been Takura. I've been to Zimbabwe, and where in Zimbabwe are you?
I'm in Harare, but most of the time I'm on the Eastern Highlands, so I'm on the border of Zimbabwe and Mozambique. We run a hotel out there.
Okay.
The hotel's been closed.
What are you doing?
We'll stay there too.
After Julie, we're going to Takura.
Yeah.
Done.
Done. I need to go
Just
talk.
Yeah, but shit.
just don't leave me behind.
Oh wait,
And he
no,
cooks
and you
too?
cook.
Okay, let me get back in the frame here.
Ayabulena, Julie, let's go. Let's go.
Let's go.
Go.
Chef Takura, cook it up.
Go.
Chef Takura, cook it up. The food.
This is where girls get fed. We dance.
Wait, you know how to make us happy? We're all excited.
Chef.
And he like, what? Like,
He's
shoot.
literally so quiet. This is the most quiet he's been all night.
Yes.
Ever seen the black man blush?
No.
Super excited. Oh my goodness. All right, so we have 2 places to go in the immediate future. We're going to Grayton to visit Julie.
Asa.
Woo! And then we're going to have a slumber party and we're going to
Yep.
talk about Kura all night.
Tuanni, when
Yeah.
is your birthday in July?
When is what?
Your birthday.
Oh, July 10th. July 10th.
And then I'm July 12th.
And she's July 12th.
And I'm July.
Wait, so my birthday's on a Friday and yours is on a Sunday.
Sunday.
So it's like
It's a long
party
weekend.
all weekend.
Lockdown party.
Don't judge me.
That
That's
fever
right.
temperature taker's gonna work overtime.
You need a thermometer. That's
A
what you
thermometer.
need.
I think I'm gonna open up the world with my birthday.
My birthday's the
Announce.
whole of May.
When they open
Yeah.
everything.
Opening up the world.
Sorry, Takura, what did you say?
No, I was saying my birthday is May. It's the whole of May. May 1 till May 31. Even though my actual birthday is the 15th.
Well, you were in
The whole-
lockdown, so you can celebrate
the whole
your
month,
birthday
I'm just-
any month of the year when lockdown is over.
Yeah.
Pretty much the month of the
I
year.
re-
Was it?
Yeah, what's your
I reckon
birthday?
because of lockdown, the whole New Year's my birthday.
Lockdown, it'll be summer too.
It'll be for real.
Julie, when is your birthday?
Julie, when is your birthday?
Me, July the 8th.
We're definitely going to Julie for the birthday weekend.
For birthday weekend. It's gonna be a long weekend.
Yes.
Oh, birthday
Yeah,
weekend.
so apparently it's me, Tuanni, Monica.
Yeah. Ayabulela. And you?
Mine's on the 17th. So
Is that right? We're all Cancerians.
yes.
Oh, gosh, ours is July 17th.
This is
Yeah.
so
funny.
So awesome.
Ayabulela, where are you in the world?
I'm in Cape Town.
Why did you take over and come over?
Next time I'm gonna come over.
Girl.
So
Get the
where in
digits.
Cape Town are you?
I'm in Tableview.
On the other side of the ocean.
I think
Yeah.
Ayabulela's the first stop for us. We're gonna pick her up and then mission to Grayton, like
Yeah,
in
it's on
air.
route.
It's on route.
It's on route.
Yeah.
All right, so let's focus, ladies. We've been on this call for 2 hours and 30 minutes. Moses is like getting fed up with us. Vicky is like,
Yeah.
oh,
Long
man.
one.
I don't understand.
Long.
This has been so fun. So like, let me just check social media to see if we have any
Right.
more questions. Do you guys have any more questions about J9 Minds? Let's see.
Okay, cool. I did share the RSA made link, but please follow us on Facebook.
Insta.
But like I said, there's a J9 Wine Bar in Chicago. All right. And that's just future plans. How do we ride that pony? You know, that's another pony to ride. You know, just like keep it here. You know. And then it's us.
My pony, my saddle, waiting, coming, jump on it. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I'm so mad that I missed that song.
It is the best song.
I think that we should. We had one question from the Facebook group, and it was directed to you, and they wanted to know if you could rate 3 Gewürztraminer that they should try. Do you know 3 different brands? Wait, and is this person in South Africa? Probably so.
Mlu is Mlu. You in the Eastern Cape now, my friend? Yes, he's yeah.
Okay, so mute.
So I would say, if I could do 3 Gewürztraminer, I would say, and it depends what you're looking for. I generally like a dry Gewürztraminer because the grape itself is already extremely fruity and very fragrant. So you get those beautiful fragrant notes. I would say Zevenwacht is a very good Gewürztraminer because it's blended from steel and oak. So you get the best qualities of the grape in that sense. Another one is Meertlingshof. If you're looking for a beautiful, like fragrant, fruity Gewürztraminer, that is something that you want to do. And I always pair this specific wine, I would say, with a curry. So do like a fish curry or a chicken curry. It's gorgeous, aromatic, and it pairs very well. And I think a third, I can't remember the exact estate, but I'm gonna give it a it's a Rawsonville winery, and I think they actually do it in an MCC form. So they take Gewürztraminer and they put it in an MCC, and it is just the label. I know the bottle itself is like a watercolor, painting of flowers, which literally just screams like what you're looking for when you pop open a bottle of bubbly. So I can't remember the exact estate, but I can almost tell you it's Rawsonville Family Farms that does a beautiful MCC Gewürztraminer, and you will just die. It tastes like watermelon. And no one has ever told you that wine tastes like watermelon, but this wine tastes like biting into watermelon. So good.
Love it. Okay, you know what? I love it. I'm super excited about that. I really am. I'm just
It's really good.
So we're doing that tasting in 2 weeks, not next week, but the week after.
We're doing red.
2 weeks.
and then
We're doing this Syrah next week, and then the
Gewurz.
Yeah, I think what we can do is we can try and find it online, and let's see the timeline that it can actually get to you, and according to your pocket as well. And let's see how quick we can get it to you. We're living in the new world. I'm excited as well as scared. So hey, let's milk this cow.
Gewürztraminer.
Wait, can we just say it all together one time?
Gewürztraminer.
I feel so foreign.
Can I say something? Can I say something? It's actually the first time that I've heard it being said. I've seen it written. I've said it when I read myself, but I've never heard anyone say it. So this is very enlightening. Thank you.
It's a very funny one. Like I remember when I started in wine as well, I was like and like I was like Gewürztraminer, and I was like lol.
I remember by saying, like, I tell my customers always say, girls are meaner. Gewürztraminer. Gewürz means rice, and traminer means land. So land of the sun.
That's actually so good.
I think we should take off now.
I did all my wine training in Australia, so we were pronouncing things badly all the time. So
I don't know what's going on. Sakura, go with it.
Sakura, what are you saying?
Can you, yeah.
What are you saying?
I was saying I was saying I did my wine training in Australia, so no one really cared about mispronouncing things because we were mispronouncing 90% of the things anyway. So
Everything. Wine,
Sakura, as long as you're not going and asking the waiter or the waitress or the bartender for a merlot, you're good. You're good.
Pinot Noir.
A Pinot Noir.
Yeah. Merlot.
So big non.
So you guys, it's been 2 hours and 30
Yeah, I heard
minutes.
that.
It's so much fun. So next week, remember the grape for next week is Syrah. Yay, Syrah. And we are going to take off now. We're just going to play our theme song. So.
Hey.
Can you hear it? Are you playing it on your side? Oh no, it's chilling. Okay.
Gang. Should I drop the jeans on? You don't feel my pain.
What's my name? Hey.
I put up in my seat, and my mama was a nigga got that shit from Tina.
Classy, bougie, ratchet.
Oh. Am I moving with that?
Kid. Savage.
Classy, bougie, ratchet.
Hey, moody, nasty.
Hello, girl. Hey. Like Beyonce.
Oh, bitch, what you say?
Okay, we're gonna go. We're gonna finish drinking our wine. But thank you so much.
Great meeting you. See you
Okay,
for
bye, guys.
with J91.
Talk to you later.
Tuesday. Bye, Julie.
Ciao.
Bye, Sakura. Bye, Sakura.